presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Minnesota.
The Twins opened the second half of their season with 12 straight against divisional opponents. They are 5-4 in the first 9, facing the Tigers again here tonight. They start play 6 games behind first place Detroit, a game back of third place Chicago. The Indians and White Sox also open a series in the Central Division tonight. Hi everyone, with Roy Smalley, I'm Anthony LaPanta, filling in for Dick Bramer and Bert Blyleven, who are in Cooperstown, as Bert will be inducted into the Hall of Fame on Sunday. The Twins were beaten by the Tigers in the first game of the series 6-2 last night. It not only pushed the Twins a game back in the standings, but it also marked the 10th consecutive time that the Tigers have beaten the Twins. That's one of the challenges facing Minnesota tonight.
It really is, and a very unusual streak for the Twins to get dominated by anybody. The Tigers really have for 10 games. They caught them, the Twins limping a little bit early in the season. Injuries, illnesses, people not in the lineup, not playing well. But the bottom line is the Twins just have not played as well, and it starts on the mound. They have not pitched as well as the Detroit Tigers have, and that is really uncharacteristic of the Twins, not been the case in the past.
Tigers have hit .319 with 21 home runs in those 10 consecutive victories. Minnesota hopes to get a boost to their lineup tonight with the return of Jason Kubel, out since May 30th, missed 47 games, but the left-hander returns for the Twins. He had the ability to swing while he was injured. He then had a rehab assignment, but it's still a large step when you step in that major league batter's box for the first time.
It's a different thing when you're hitting in the cage, and then when you go down and start to hit seeing live pitching in his AAA. They call this the show for a reason, and he's back in the show. He's going to have to show us that and manager Ron Gartner, that he's ready. I think he is ready. I talked with him today. That sweet swing is back, in my opinion. I watched him take batting practice today. He has an awful lot of confidence. He says he's seeing the ball good. Very, very well. He likes the way his swing is right now. The Twins really need him, Anthony. That one more guy in the 5th spot, 3, 4, now 5. The 5th hole being a big RBI hole. They've needed Jason Kubel this year.
Remember when Kubel was playing for the Twins, he was off to one of his best starts, hitting .310. That was 8th best in the American League. We'll hear from Jason Kubel on his return next.
Baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
A beautiful night for baseball. Welcome back to Target Field. Twins and the Tigers just moments away. And Ron Gardner and the Twins welcome back Jason Kubel when he went to the DL. He was their hottest hitter, batting over 300 with 30 RBIs. And we spoke with him earlier about his emotions on returning this evening.
I feel like I'm ready to go, and I'm excited. A little nervous, but it should be a lot of fun.
What's the biggest area of concern in that batter's box? You were tearing it up when you went on the disabled list. Now getting back and getting that timing going, what's the one thing you're focused on?
Well, fortunately, I've had a couple good days down in Rochester, so I have a little bit of confidence coming in. I understand, it's AAA, it's not the big leagues, but I feel fine with my swing and how I'm seeing the ball, and hopefully that just carries over tonight, and hopefully I just pick up where I left off.
Kubel will try to supply the offense for Brian Dunsing. He's won 4 straight starts at Target Field. He's 11-4 here in his career. Anthony and Roy up next on Fox Sports North.
The first place Tigers are looking to avoid a second half letdown and are hoping to do so featuring a lineup packed with punch. After a slow start, the Twins have surged. Under Ron Gardenhire, they've had some remarkable second half comebacks and are looking to do it again. Tonight, the crucial series between the Tigers and the Twins continues. We'll have it next on Fox Sports North. Twins and Tigers at Target Field in downtown Minneapolis. Game 2 of this very important 4-game series. Tigers took the opener last night 6-2. Minnesota tonight hoping that the return of Jason Kubel can spark an offense that's been struggling lately. Kubel in the lineup for the first time since May 30th after missing 47 games with a foot injury, and we are underway. Brian Dunsing delivering to Austin Jackson and misses down and away for ball one. Dunsing 7-7 this season for Minnesota with an ERA just over 4. Misses high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Against the Tiger leadoff hitter, who's hitting at .244, was hitless last night. 3 strikeouts in 4 official at bats.
And has not hit the ball well, Anthony, against Brian Dunsing in the past. That's why it's so important to get ahead of hitters and punish guys that you normally pitch well against, and especially get ahead of guys that you don't pitch well against or that swing the bats well, like the Tigers do.
Jackson takes high, and he's ahead in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike. Jackson, the only real threat on the base paths for the Tigers, with 16 stolen bases on the year. Dunsing would love to keep him off the bases before facing the heart of the Tiger lineup. It's now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three-2 from Dunsing. Fouled away. Jackson, not your typical leadoff hitter in that he is prone to the strikeout. 146 times he has gone down on strikes. That's 3rd most in the American League. Another 3-2. Got him. Dunsing starts the game with a strikeout. Let's take a look at the Menards batting lineup for Detroit. Jackson, as you just saw, will lead off. Ryan Rayburn, who didn't start last night, will hit second. Meglio Ordonez third. The middle of the lineup was potent in last night's win. Cabrera, Martinez, and Peralta. Carlos Guillen, Alex Avila, and Wilson Benavides round out the Tiger lineup. Now Dunsing to face Ryan Rayburn, and starts him off speed, up and away.
And the scouting report on Brian Dunsing tonight: first of all, command the fastball. He did not do that real well against the first hitter. Was lucky to get through that one and be able to throw both breaking balls that he has for strikes. He has a bigger curveball and a smaller slider. He's going to have to command the fastball, which means both sides of the plate, all around the strike zone, not in the middle of it, and then be able to throw those breaking balls for strikes.
He again is behind in the count, and now it's 3-0 as he just misses away with a 2-0 fastball to Ryan Rayburn.
And he's not missing by much, but he's trying to hit the outside corner against these right-hand hitters, and he's just been missing a little bit, but doesn't have the command yet. He's a feel pitcher, and when he gets that feel, he'll be back in the zone. But he's got the kind of stuff that he really needs to be able to command that fastball, stay ahead of the hitters.
3-1 to Rayburn. Swung out and hit a long way to left field. Young back, and it's gone. A home run for Ryan Rayburn, and the Tigers quickly out in front, 1-0.
You fall behind 3-0, have to show your fastball down the middle that you take a good right-hand hitter takes a look at, and then you come back with the same pitch right in the middle of the plate. And that's what happens. That's why we talk so much about let's get ahead. Watch where the pitch is, right down the middle. 3-1 fastball right there. You have to hit that pitch. That's a hitter's fault if you don't hit that ball hard.
Tigers do what they've done so well against the Twins during this 10-game winning streak, and that is score first and also use the long ball to their advantage. Now 22 home runs in the last 11 games against the Twins, and Dunsing once again falling behind in the count as he misses away to Meglio Ordonez. Ordonez rifles one into the seats down the left field line. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a little bit of a contradiction in your mind when you think about going up against a good hitting team. Obviously you want to be careful, but you can't be careful by throwing balls. You have to be in the strike zone, because 2-0 and 3-1 just makes them better.
Ordonez fouls it back, and now Dunsing ahead in the count at 1-2.
When you're afraid to throw your fastball in the middle of the plate to good hitters, sometimes start them with another pitch, get it for a strike, and then so you can work the corners with your fastball. See that fastball right there in the outer limit of the zone is where he's got to pitch.
Let's set the Northland forward. Defense for Minnesota: Delman Young, Ben Revere, and Jason Kubel in the outfield. Danny Valencia, Tsuyoshi Nishioka, Alexi Casilla, and Michael Kadire in the infield. And Brian Dunsing will deal to the catcher, Joe Mauer. Dunsing now faces the most dangerous hitter in the Tiger lineup, Miguel Cabrera. Swing and a miss on a first pitch fastball. Cabrera in the top 10 in the American League with his batting average of .315, his 20 home runs, and his 63 runs batted in.
This guy's a complete hitter. There's no question about it. He can do it all up there with a bat in his hand.
Comes up empty on another fastball, and Dunsing's ahead 0-2.
A little bit uncharacteristic of Cabrera, swinging at that ball up and outside the zone, but he gets real good with 2 strikes too. You can't take him for granted. You have to pitch him real tough, edges of the zone.
Dunsing misses high, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We were talking in the pregame show about his mechanics and his ability to hit, Miguel Cabrera's, and talked about having to pitch him inside to get him in a hurry. You also have to really go back and forth, really change speeds a lot.
Long one to left field. Delman Young on the track is there and makes the catch. Cabrera retired, but the home run by Ryan Rayburn has the Tigers in front, 1-0. Brian Dunsing in the top half of the first inning. Ron Gardenhire has won 6 division titles in 9 years. Included in there a couple of dramatic runs against Detroit. Menard's batting order for Minnesota tonight. Revere, Casilla, and Mauer at the top. Jason Kubel will hit in the 5th spot. Jim Thome slides down to number 7. Had a good career against Max Scherzer with a home run. Delman Young will hit 8th, and Tsuyoshi Nishioka hits 9th. With the switch hitters in the lineup, Minnesota able to get 6 left-handed hitters against Scherzer.
And the scouting report on Max Scherzer, he's got 3 real good pitches, and his stuff can be electric. We'll see which Max Scherzer shows up today.
Revere takes strike 2, no balls, 2 strikes. Just inside. Revere was hitless in the series opener last night. That was the case for seemingly everybody in the Minnesota lineup against Justin Verlander.
Verlander awfully tough, and anybody seems a little bit easier after seeing Verlander, but this guy can pitch.
Chopped to the right side, gobbled up by Carlos Guillen. And Revere is retired to start the Minnesota first. The Northland 4 defense for Detroit. Ryan Rayburn in left, Austin Jackson in center, Meglio Ordonez in right. Benavides, Peralta, Guillen, and Martinez in the infield, and Max Scherzer on the mound with Alex Avila behind the plate.
When we talk about electric stuff, it means stuff that really flies through the zone, snaps through the zone, both fastball and slider. And Max Scherzer can have that. He has 2 fastballs. He throws. He can throw a hard righter. We saw 94 miles an hour to Ben Revere. He can also sink it. And there is, you look up electric stuff in the dictionary. There's a picture of that guy right there, Justin Verlander. He has maybe the most electric.
Absolutely dominant last night, picking up his 13th win of the year. Scherzer looks for number 11 here tonight. He's 5th in the American League with 10 victories. The 1-1 to Casilla, down and away, 2 balls and a strike.
When Scherzer pitches down there with his stuff, he can be very, very good. He can get a little frustrated. He can elevate the ball in the zone, and the Twins are normally pretty good at making guys get up there.
Casilla able to check in time, and he's ahead 3 balls and 1 strike. Scherzer has not had good success against Minnesota. We showed you that during the pregame show. A 9.13 ERA in 4 starts against the Twins.
And here's where you want to get real aggressive against him.
Strike called, 3-2.
That ball's too low, but you get aggressive by getting the ball you want at 3-1. This is not Lexi's pitch down here. It's looks like it's right at the knees. Looked a little bit low for that ball sinking. That's a good layoff right there. Good take by Lexi. Get that one.
Hits it sharply, but right at Victor Martinez. 2 up and 2 down for Minnesota. Scherzer, a 9.13 ERA against the Twins. 5 home runs allowed in 23 innings in those 4 starts, but has been much better against the rest of Major League Baseball.
I think the Twins' left-handed hitters are the kind of hitters that would give this guy problems. I kind of understand the statistics that you're reciting there, Anthony, because these guys are selective hitters. They make the ball be the pitches that they want, and Scherzer will get a lot of guys out on pitches below the zone or pitches on the edges of the zone. They're generally very good, these Twins hitters, at getting balls in the middle of the zone that they can hit. Of course, a lot of these guys, Ben Revere has not seen Scherzer before. Casilla's only had 6 at bats. It's a little bit different lineup.
Mauer fouls it back, and it's 0-2. Twins baseball is brought to you in Sony High Definition.
That fastball there with a little giddy up, it got in on Joe, got by him just a little bit, and that's when Scherzer's good, when he's throwing that lively fastball, and it can ride like that one, or when it's down it sinks, and that's tough on a hitter. Two kinds of fastballs, very, very difficult.
Here's the 0-2 to Mauer, misses up and away. Joe might be the hottest hitter in baseball right now. 458 in his last 13 games. That goes back to July the 7th. He's also walked 7 times, which all adds up to an on-base percentage of .536. 2-2. Nobody in baseball has been on base more than Mauer over that stretch. Nobody has more hits. He has 22 hits and has reached base safely 30 times in those 13 games. It's a ridiculous number. Weak tap to second base here. Scherzer has 3 ground balls to the right side to end the first. Tigers lead 1-0 after 1.
Ball is brought to you by Pentair.
Tony Oliva, one of the all-time great Twins. When you come to Target Field, stop by and get a Tony O's Cuban sandwich. It's actually one of my favorite concession items here at Target Field.
Cuban sandwiches are great, and talk to Tony about it. He'll talk all day. He is passionate about Cuban sandwiches.
I'll never forget taking the tour here before the stadium opened to take a look and try some of the concessions. And Tony was at the Tony O stand, and I asked him how authentic it was. I've never been to Cuba. I said, is this? He said, well, they tried a couple different versions. And I said, no. That's not how they serve them in Havana. And the bread apparently is the key. Whatever they do to them, they're delicious.
Man, they are so good.
Dunsing will face Martinez, Peralta, and Guillen in the Tiger half of the second inning. Victor Martinez, 5th in the American League with a .318 average, had 2 hits last night. Dunsing's ahead 0-2. Middle of the lineup was the difference in last night's game. Detroit's 4, 5, 6 hitters combined to go 7 for 12, score 3 runs, and knock in 3 runs. Pair of doubles and a home run included in there.
The difference for this Tiger lineup this year, that man right there, Miguel Cabrera, who we're looking at right now, just a down hitter, and this man right here, Johnny Peralta. Victor Martinez and Peralta hitting behind Cabrera made all the difference in the world.
Martinez is out on strikes. If you look at these middle 3 hitters for Detroit and compare them to some of the other top trios in the American League, they're not far off the pace of the best in terms of runs batted in. Already 171 for these 3.
You look at all of these trios, boy, those are all murderers row in their own right, all terrific trios. And the Tigers are right there with everybody. They may not have quite as many RBIs as the leaders, but those guys are dangerous. And it's so hard for a pitcher to get through those 3 guys. You can't pitch. You got to pitch around this guy with the game on the line, and then you have Victor Martinez that is very, very capable of beating you. And Johnny Peralta here has really fashioned a terrific season for himself.
Peralta delivered the biggest blows last night with a double and a home run. Drove in 3 of the 6 Detroit runs in a 6-2 win.
If you get through 3, 4, 5 as a pitcher, you really think that you're really out of the deal. And then if the 6th hitter is as Peralta hammers another one.
Young looks up and watches it sail into the left field seats. It's 2-0 Detroit.
Another ball in the middle of the zone. From up here, it looked like a hanging breaking ball. And Brian Dunsing is just struggling with that command we talked about. He needs to be able to command the strike zone, and he has not been able to do that well. Yep, little hanger right there in the middle of the zone. Peralta waits back. Watch where his hands are when his foot lands. His hands are back, and then he's able to unload all at one time. Those things are supposed to get hit like that. That's what a hanger means.
2 solo home runs for Detroit in the first 2 innings. Rayburn in the first, Peralta here in the second, and Carlos Guillen bats with 1 out and the bases empty.
The thing about having a really stacked lineup like the Tigers do is that there just is no rest, and you've got to keep making great pitches. Let's make no mistake, it's not that easy to pitch in the big leagues. You can't throw the ball where you want to all the time. We say, well, you got to keep the ball out of the middle of the zone. It's not that easy. You can't do it all the time. And what the Tigers are able to do, because they're so deep, is get enough of those pitches when they don't miss them. Good hitters don't miss those pitches very often. When you got 4 or 5 in a row, then you just can't get through 5 guys throwing the ball in the middle of the zone and saying, well, I got away with the mistake. You're not going to get away with very many mistakes against these guys.
2-1 pitch from Dunsing. In on his hands and fouled back. It evens the count at 2-2. If you missed it in our pregame show, courtesy of our Kidcaster, we found out the Tigers have hit as many home runs here at Target Field as any visiting team. Now 18 home runs in this, their 13th game in one of Major League Baseball's most pitcher-friendly ballparks.
These are some big, strong guys. When they hit the ball, it stays hit. There won't be a ballpark that holds it.
2-2's fouled back. Alex Avila waits on deck as the Tigers bat in the second. Dunsing's 2-2 pitch. Got him. 2 home runs, but 4 strikeouts among the first 7 hitters against Brian Dunsing. This week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers look to keep pace in the American League Central. They'll battle the Twins right here at Target Field. This week's telecast of Fox Saturday Baseball begins at 3, only on Fox. Avila swings and hammers one into right center. The only left-handed batter that Dunsing will face tonight. Delivers a base hit on the first pitch, and the Tigers have a 2-out runner for Wilson Bettamy.
The pitchers that have been hit this inning, a perfect example of what I'm saying. There's a ball that is just a cookie to a left-hander, down and in. That's where left-handers like the ball most of the time, especially right-handed throwing left-handers, because their right hand, their dominant hand, is the one that pulls the bat down onto that low pitch down and in. The pitches that have been thrown in the middle of the zone been hit, and Brian Dunsing has made some really good pitches. Struck out 4 guys with really good stuff. Made really good pitches. It struck Tiger hitters out. Can't throw where you want to all the time. Left the ball in the middle of the zone, and they've been hammered. Sometimes you have to give credit. You have to the hitters and how good they are. You have to do the best you can to stay out in the middle of the plate, middle of the zone. But some guys are just better than others.
Bettamy takes low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Just acquired this week from the Kansas City Royals. Short lead for Avila at first, and the 1-1 from Dunsing had it in on his hands. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I really think hitting in a great hitting lineup gets contagious too. It pumps everybody up to watch the likes of Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez. This guy, Johnny Peralta, has to be just loving life that he came over, got in the middle of this lineup, got a chance to watch these guys work, watch how they take batting practice, watch what they work on, talk hitting with them. And then he kind of sneaks up on the pitcher and the rest of the league. You get through Ordonez and Cabrera and Martinez, and all of a sudden here's Johnny Peralta, who's never had a year quite this big. And he's seeing pitches he's never seen before with a number of guys on base all the time.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's a pretty good pitch. Brian Dunsing tries to backdoor a breaking ball right here. Just missed outside. Good try.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out.
Okay.
Count holds.
I've always thought right here, when you see a guy that you're beaten with your fastball, and what I mean by that is you're throwing your fastball and he's not getting around on hitting way foul to the opposite field. Very dangerous to try to throw in something slow here because it speeds up his bat. Generally, you want to stay hard, just like that.
Dunsing got him on strikes. He's spanned 5 of the first 9 Tiger hitters, but trails 2-0 after an inning and a half.
a couple of runs, a couple of solo shots by the Tigers. A couple summers ago, it was all about batting stance guy. Now it's time to meet batting stance baby. MJ is just 2 years old. Check out the Jim Thome point with the regulation bat. He looks just like the slugger that's looking for 597 tonight. He also does a wicked good Delman Young with the bobble in the batter's box. It's baby batting stance guy. MJ, again, guys, just 2 years old. Hopefully some good karma. The Twins need to play some long ball to keep up with those big boppers from Detroit.
It's not easy to hold that bat up like that with one hand. Kadire, Kubel, and Valencia to bat for Minnesota in the second against Max Scherzer. Kadire takes a strike, 1-1. Mentioned earlier, the Twins have hit 5 home runs in 23 innings against Scherzer in his 4 previous starts. One of those hit by Michael Kadire, who's 3 for 10 against him in his career.
And that just means they're getting the ball up in the zone. They're making him pitch up. So far, it's not been the case. 3 ground ball outs in the first inning, which means the ball's down and sinking. And you got to make him get the ball up at least mid-thigh high, if not higher than that, or it's going to be very difficult to square the ball up. That's where the ground balls come from.
2-2 pitch from Scherzer. Low, 3-2. Scherzer has been up and down this year. His first 9 starts, he was 6-0 with an ERA of 2.81. But in the last 11, the ERA is up over 6. And he's gone 4-5. Into left field, a base hit, and the Twins have their first runner of the night. Kadire takes a big turn, but will hold at first base. Average back up over 300 as Michael Kadire continues to swing. One of the hottest bats in baseball.
Michael Kadire stays hot. He did it the classic way. Work the count to 3-2 and get that fastball up and in the middle of the zone. Rip the big end of the bat through. That's good hitting right there.
And here now is the much anticipated return of Jason Kubel.
Wilson Betemit just got a glove on that ball. Just hit too hard.
Kubel takes a strike. 310 on the year. That average at the time of his injury was 8th best in the American League.
And let me tell you something. When you come back to the big leagues like this after being out for a while, it's like opening day again. He's fighting some butterflies right now. He said he was going to be a little nervous, and he's excited. But right now, you get back in that batter's box, you step up to the plate against a big league pitcher in front of your home crowd, and the butterflies are flying around in there.
Short lead for Kadire. And Kubel takes low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The real danger here, the real vulnerability is get a little excited and try to do too much too soon. Get a little big with your swing. Come back and do something really exciting. You got to be able to fight those butterflies, fight the adrenaline. Say, this is how I hit. These are my mechanics. I'm just going to do what I know.
Swing and a miss. Kubel a little tardy. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That ball up there is not his pitch. He doesn't really want it. I think right there is an indication of him being a little bit excited. His pitch is from the, I would say, belt to the knees and middle to in. That ball up and away is not going to lead to an awful lot of success.
Just got a piece of it to stay alive. Scherzer continues to pound him with fastballs. I asked you earlier, must make, even though he's had swings in the cage, he's had rehab assignments, is it sheer velocity that is the biggest adjustment to make when you reach a major league pitcher?
It's not sheer velocity, although there aren't a lot of guys that throw 94 with movement like this guy in AAA, or they'd be up here somewhere. It's mainly movement, and it's the number of pitches that the pitchers have that they can throw for strikes, that they can get you out on. So you don't see a lot of guys in AAA with two fastballs, a rider and a sinker, a ball that stays hard and straight, and one that sinks, like Scherzer has. He's got a hard slider. You don't see 3 or 4 quality pitches down there. You see 1 usually.
1-2. Kubel jumps back out of the way, and it's even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That was a slider that right-handers try to throw down and in, and left-handers. It looks like a fastball, and I mentioned that left-handers like fastballs down and in. That slider coming up in the down and in spot that darts under the bat. It's hard to lay off.
Now it's 3-2.
Good take right there with a changeup. Actually, a good spot for that changeup. Down low, and Jason had not seen the changeup from Scherzer this at bat. Seen all fastballs and sliders, so really good take. He saw that ball well right there. Otherwise, he'd have offered at it a little bit, or at least had his hands move a little bit. He didn't flinch. I think he saw that ball. I think he's seen the ball pretty well right now.
See if Kadyr's in motion here on the 3-2 pitch. Scherzer thinks he might be and throws over. Will Gardy be less likely to move him because it's Kubel's first at bat?
I think that might enter into it. I think he likes the hole over there. I'd be surprised if he goes, actually. I'm surprised.
And Kubel lines one to center. Kadir will reach third, and the Twins have him on the corners with nobody out.
You know, good for Gardy, and I'm glad I was surprised there when you think about it. I said Kubel looked like he was seeing that changeup really well. There he got the low fastball we were talking about, and when he is not going to miss that one. Really nice square front side. Michael takes off, sees it's not lined at somebody, keeps right on going to third, and the Twins have got something going here. Welcome back, Kub.
Danny Valencia now the hitter. Delivered the big game winner on Tuesday against Cleveland in the 9th inning. Chance to take a bite out of the Tiger lead here tonight. First pitch, strike on the outside corner. Back-to-back singles to open the second for Minnesota. Kadyr's now at third, Kubel's at first with nobody out. Here's the 0-1. Fouled back. Ron Coomer, field level here at Target Field. Coom, you've got a good look at Max Scherzer here for 5 hitters. Is this the good Scherzer or the mediocre?
Well, I think we've seen a little bit of both so far, Anthony. Roy, as you know, when a guy is kind of that 3/4 and his elbow kind of leads his hand, he usually has good movement. The one thing that some of the Twins hitters are looking for is that upshoot fastball. You talked about it with Kubel. If it gets up too high, it's really tough to hit because he's got good velocity. But if the Twins hitters can keep it somewhere from the belt to the knees, usually that ball kind of straightens out and it doesn't have the movement that the one below the knees has. To me, the 2 balls that were hit hard were balls between the knees and the belt. The other thing that this guy looks like he's got a very good slider tonight right now, Roy.
He does have a really good slider, Coom. Coom, he's not throwing it quite as much command as he would like. He's throwing it off the plate a little bit, really hard, nasty sliders that you can't hit anyway, so you're not swinging at them. They're just not getting them called strikes. They're just off the plate. But you're right, really good slider tonight.
He started Valencia with a good one for strike 1. Let's see if it goes back to it here on 1 and 2. Missed inside. It's even 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's pitching Danny just in a classic way. Coom, you watch him. He started him with a really good slider for a strike. I mean, a nasty slider on the outside corner. Came in with a fastball, went back out there with a slider. Now came in again. And that's a pitcher trying to mess with the hitter, isn't it?
No doubt about it. The other thing in watching both guys so far, Dunsing with some strikeouts, Scherzer looks like he's thrown really hard. I think both guys are probably a little overexcited right now, too, with the series being the magnitude that it is.
2-2 pitch, lifted in the air down the left field line. And it will land in the seats. Count holds at 2-2.
And that was a changeup again, a pitch that Danny hadn't seen in this at bat yet. As we said, all fastballs and sliders. That changeup comes up there looking like a fastball out of his hand. That's why Danny was out in front of it, trying to protect against the inside fastball that he's seen twice. You have to be quicker on that inside fastball. The big end of the bat's got to get out there about 2 or 3 feet farther than it does a pitch on the outside part. And when you see that ball coming in there, you tend to jump out at it, and change-ups get you out in front.
2-2 pitch. A little fish shot toward third base. Benedict goes to first to get Valencia, but a run scores for Minnesota. Kubel into scoring position, and the Tiger lead is cut in half.
That's about as productive an at-bat in your kitchen as you're ever going to. If you're going to get a couple of meals eaten in your kitchen in there like Danny just did, you might as well get one in and one over.
If you're going to feel your thumbs that bad, you might as well get a ribby with it, right?
Right. Now, after the changeup, he's got to protect against that, too. And, oh, man, it's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball on the fist. That's pitching and hitting right there.
Yeah. And watching so far, Brian's up throwing as high as 93, and Scherzer, like you just said, in the mid-90s. Both guys pumped up. It'll be interesting to see how he pitches Jimmy, though, because Verlander went after him with hard stuff early.
Starts him with off speed. No balls, one strike. Jim Thome, 596 home runs in his career. Only 7 men have hit more. Now low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Thome has also hit a home run against Scherzer in his career.
Actually, pretty good numbers against Scherzer. I think all around 4 for 8 or something like that with a home run. So he sees him pretty well. And again, it's going to be a question of getting the ball that you want to hit, not the one that Scherzer wants you to.
Called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Guys, I think this is a great matchup for Jimmy. As you were talking about, Roy, the lefties like that sinker down, and Scherzer likes to throw the sinker down. It's no surprise that Jim Thome, big, powerful lefty, has success off a guy like this.
Kuma, he surprised me with that take. That ball was a straight fastball just above the knees. A really good pitch for him to hit. And I think, again, having 2 fastballs, I think Jim saw that ball low come out of his hand, was expecting sinker, and he got the rider. The ball didn't sink. It stayed right there on plane. I'm really kind of surprised that I think that could be the only explanation for why he took that pitch, because I agree with you. That ball right there is a home run pitch for Jim.
1-2 pitch from Scherzer. Just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
We talk a lot about a guy having two fastballs. You hear the term 4-seamer and 2-seamer. 4-seamer just means you throw it across the big seams and it stays straight and rides a little bit. The 2-seamer means it sinks. And that's the toughest thing for a hitter. They're 2 separate pitches.
Fouled away, and Thome stays alive. Kubel aboard at second base with 1 out for Minnesota. 1 run in here in the bottom of the 2nd. They've cut the Tiger lead in half. Thome down on strikes 3 times in last night's game. Awaits a 2-2 from Scherzer. Lifted in the air and well hit into left center field. Rayburn over and makes the catch. Delman Young will hit with 2 out. This homestand concludes on Sunday with a 3:10 start against Detroit. Tiger Series is presented by Denizen Jeans. Come early and watch Burt Blyleven's Hall of Fame induction speech live from Cooperstown. All fans in attendance will receive a Burt Blyleven poster featuring a print from artist Robert Bleer. Call 833-TWINS to check on ticket availability. Delman Young, the hitter with 2 out, swing and a miss. We saw batting stance Kid earlier imitating Jim Thome. How does he do with the Delman crouch?
He's got the crouch down. Now you get that bat back over your shoulder. You got it perfect with the MJ.
Scherzer's 0-1 pitch misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Young with a chance to tie it for the Twins. 3 out of 8 in his career against Scherzer. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Scherzer slider again has Delman coming up empty. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's got good stuff, and he is, when he's pounding the strike zone, he's awfully tough with two different fastballs and a hard slider. That's an occasional changeup just to make you think. That's big league stuff.
The 1 tap to the left side. Benavides charges, bare hands, throws on the run, got him. Martinez just does hold the bag at first base. Young retired, so are the Twins. But they're on the board on a run-scoring ground ball by Valencia. 2-1 Tigers after 2.
Minnesota Twins baseball is brought to you by Explore Minnesota. Visit exploreminnesota.com to plan your next Minnesota vacation today.
You, of course, are viewing Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota. Might see the rest of the Smalley family walking around there.
That's not a bad bet.
Austin Jackson with a base hit to start the Tiger half of the 3rd inning. Casilla had only 1 play. Tried to barehand and scoop in the same motion, but could not make the play. And the Tigers have the leadoff man aboard.
That's the perfect right-handed push bunt. Now, for all of you aspiring baseball players out there, you want to know how to push a ball with right-handed to the right side. Watch this. Make the second baseman field the ball. Get it by the pitcher. Get it wide of the first baseman. That takes a career play by the second baseman to make that play. And the odds are in your favor if you make the second baseman field that ball, especially if you can run like Austin Jackson can.
Tigers as a team do not run very much, but Jackson is the one legitimate threat they have. 16 steals in 19 tries. The team as a whole has stolen only 35 bases this year.
2 things happen with that. 1, they only have 1 base stealer, and 2, they hit the ball out of the ballpark an awful lot. You don't have to run.
Dunsing throws over. Rayburn homered in the 1st inning. Now it's no balls and 2 strikes.
And what a difference an at bat makes. 3-0 count to Rayburn first. Throw a get me over fastball 3-0 and let him see that, and then throw the same pitch 3-1. He puts it in the seats. Now he pounding him outside corner. Now in on his fist, and now you're 0-2. Not sure what you're going to get. Totally different mindset for a hitter than the first at bat.
Jackson was lunging back toward first base. Dunsing misses inside 1-2.
This is a pretty good spot for Austin Jackson to run with a right-hand hitter hitting it. But I don't think Austin Jackson is inspiring an awful lot of confidence in manager Jim Leyland when he's going back to first base when Dunsing goes to the plate. That probably will negate the steal sign.
Same thing. Dunsing misses again, and now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You see what he was trying to do there: go in hard with on the pitch before, and then get him out on the outside corner. And that's where we talked about command of the fastball. Be able to throw it where you want it when you need it. If he throws that ball in the outside corner, you get the guy right there. Now you get him back to even and 2-2. Swings back in the hitter's favor just a little.
Rayburn stays alive. Count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There's a difference between command of the strike zone and command in the strike zone, you know, and command of the strike zone means, okay, I can throw my pitches over the plate. But command in the strike zone means I can throw them not only over the plate, but where I want to, when I want to. And that's the big step that pitchers need to get to. Really successful pitchers have it.
Dunsing chases Jackson back to the bag. Joe Mauer's back behind the plate in tonight's game after spending much of the Cleveland series at first base. He's thrown out 4 of 25 base stealers. Dunsing appears to have Jackson confused at first base.
Yeah, like I said, he's not inspiring me if I'm the manager with a lot of confidence that he's got Dunsing's move figured out. Leaning heavily back toward first base as Dunsing goes to the plate.
Three and two.
Talked with Lou Brock some back in the day. I talked with Maury Wills. Those guys said that they liked stealing against left-handed pitchers better than right-handed pitchers. Right-handers are quick over there on their move to first. Left-handers are slow and try to trick you with that move, but they would see little movements that would tip them off, and they'd get much bigger jumps.
They're high in the air and a long way up into the seats. Count remains 3-2. This probably an indication of that lack of confidence to which you refer. Even on a 3-2 pitch, Jim Leyland does not have Jackson in motion from first base.
And it also means he's, the home run notwithstanding, not real sure that Rayburn's going to absolutely make contact with the ball on a strike, which is, he doesn't want to strike him out, throw him out.
High in the air to center field. Revere drifting over a bit into left center to make the catch. And there's one out. Our Sanford Health injury report. Kevin Slowey activated from the disabled list and then optioned to Rochester. Missed the last 56 games for the Twins. But reinstated from the disabled list after last night's game. Now will resume regular throwing for the Red Wings.
One of the reasons, I think one of the things going on in Jim Leyland's mind about stealing Austin Jackson or anybody else, you say, well, let me get this guy in the scoring position. But you got Maglio Ordonez, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Johnny Peralta coming up. Austin Jackson's in scoring position right here at first base for those guys. And
to the right side, just out of the reach of Casilla. Jackson slams on the brakes at second base rather than testing the arm of Jason Kubel. 2 on, 1 out for Miguel Cabrera.
Very, very difficult to take it for Jim Leyland to take a chance on running himself out of an inning when he's got this kind of thunder coming up behind. Austin Jackson never did figure out that move. It was in a one-way lead all the way, a very defensive lead. And I think that's a don't get picked off because we got thunder coming up behind.
Cabrera flied to left his first time up. Delman Young playing about 3 steps in front of the warning track. Barely had to move. He's in the same spot here. And Cabrera takes a fastball up and away. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, on the other hand, I think a base running mistake by Austin Jackson. A ground ball to the right side should be first and third, and his going back to the base on the pitch to the plate by Dunsing, and then not really busting hard off of first base as when he was sure that he was going to the plate, prevented him from going to third. Watch this. Now he goes way back. Now he's just kind of looking at now with his speed and a 4-hopper through the infield. He should be on third base right there. With Jason Kubel coming back to the lineup for the first time, I mean, that's with 1 out, that's a time to go to third base, and he just wasn't ready. With his speed, he got to be on third base, in my opinion.
I think the big key is what you just mentioned with 1 out.
Right, it's a good gamble with 1 out, absolutely.
2 balls, 1 strike. Most dangerous hitter in the Tiger lineup at the plate. Cabrera with 20 home runs already this year. The 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. When you look at what Cabrera has done in his career, the consistency is remarkable. 6 out of the last 7 years, he's hit 30 or more home runs. In all 7 of those seasons, he's driven in more than 100.
Remarkable hitter. If he stays healthy and stays into it, there's no telling what numbers he's going to put up by the time he's through, although I don't know how he missed that last pitch.
2-2 pitch. And now it's 3-2. Dunsing already 55 pitches into his night. And so far, he's recorded only 7 outs.
Talking to some of the Tiger guys last year and this year, they also say Miguel Cabrera is great at sitting on pitches. And by that, I mean figuring out a pitcher, figuring out what he's going to get most often in the strike zone, where he can get to it, and looking for that pitch for an entire bat, or even sometimes just on a given pitch. They say he's remarkable at seeming to know what's going to come to him, and then hitting it when he gets it.
See if the Tiger runners are moving on the 3-2. They are, and it's a broken bat roller to short. Nishioka has only 1 play. The runners now move into scoring position for Victor Martinez.
Now this is remarkable to me. This is an atypical Miguel Cabrera at bat. Good fastball in the inside corner, maybe even a little in. Great pitch by Brian Dunsing. We're talking kitchens. That is deep in the kitchen also, and I'm surprised at Cabrera. That's atypical for him to get beaten that badly on a fastball. Good on Brian Dunsing. That's a good pitch. I think Cabrera got a little anxious. I don't think he had any dream that Dunsing would come in on him on that pitch, and he got out over the plate a little bit and jammed himself.
Key at bat right here for Victor Martinez, and Dunsing starts him with a fastball in the inner half. Tigers have had Dunsing on the ropes here in the first 3 innings, but if he can get Martinez, he'd keep the Twins within a run. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. Victor Martinez has provided protection for Cabrera, and he has also managed to produce runs while doing so. .372 batting average with runners in scoring position. You can see that he and Cabrera both among the top 4 hitters in the American League.
That's why it's so tough to get through these guys. Johnny Peralta the same way. He's hit very well with runners in scoring position, especially with 2 out.
Missed inside, 2 balls and a strike.
That's a good pitch, 1-1, showing that you're going to come in. The hitters watch. You know, they're paying attention to what's happening. And Victor Martinez was on the on-deck circle when he saw Brian Dunsing get deep in the kitchen of Miguel Cabrera. Now, you don't shatter Miguel Cabrera's bat that often, so that got his attention. Now he comes in hard right now on Victor Martinez, and he said, man, he might be coming in. That starts to open up the outside part of the plate. That's where they're going. See, they're right there. That's where, if he throws that ball on the corner, he's got him. He'll get him right there. Now you let him back in the count 3-1, and you got to come in there. This is where Johnny Peralta's made a huge difference too. First base open. Other Tiger lineups, you might have said, you know what, just put him on. If not intentionally, throwing something low and away, try to get himself out. Let him get himself out. If I walk him up, get to the next guy. But Peralta's been able to back up Martinez as well. That just makes it tough.
3-1 fouled away, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Another long inning for Brian Dunsing on a hot, humid night. He got Martinez on strikes back in the 2nd inning. If he could do it here, he'd strand 2 Tiger runners in scoring position.
Martinez a much better hitter left-handed than right-handed. If you're going to have a good matchup, this is it right here on this pitch.
3-2 pitch. Missed. And the bases are loaded for Johnny Peralta. It's time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. It came the last time Peralta was at the plate.
Hanging slider, and he knows what to do with that pitch this year. It's a strong young man that has really come into his own here in this Tiger lineup.
Bases full. 2 out. Dunsing against Peralta. Missed, and it's ball 1. Peralta homered last night. He's homered tonight.
Dunsing started off trying to come in on him. It was a good pitch. It was low and in. Just missed. Could have gotten the call, but a good miss right there.
And now it's 2-0, and Mauer to the mound. Rick Anderson may join this conversation. A quick trip to the mound by pitching coach Rick Anderson.
Hey, Ron Coomer down there field level. You know what I'm noticing from up here, and I don't know if you can see it, location from down there. Brian Dunsing looks like he's got pretty good stuff. He gets hitters set up for hitting the outside corner, the outer part of the plate, and he just has not had command of any of his pitches, especially the fastball out there on the outside corner.
Roy, the one thing that I've seen so far out of both pitchers, and I said it earlier, it seems like both guys are really excited. You know, to me, Brian's usually not a guy throwing 93 miles an hour. And, you know, it could be a little bit of, like you talked about, just the butterflies and the nerves of being a little over pumped. He seems like when he's throwing some breaking pitches, he's able to do what he wants early in the count. But you're right, the put away pitch hasn't quite been there yet.
Now he must battle from behind in the count against a very dangerous hitter. Peralta fouls it away on the first base side. 2 balls, 1 strike.
If Bert were here on that one pitch that we were just talking about that he tried to hit the outside corner and was up and away, if Bert were here, he would talk about flying open a little bit, the arm dragging. And that's what happens when as Ron Coomer says, you're a little bit amped up. You tend to get your body out ahead of yourself, trying to throw it too hard.
Into center, a base hit. 2 runs will score, and the Tigers extend the lead to 4-1. Six RBI in the series for Johnny Peralta.
Watch this slider in the middle of the plate, settles right in there. Not too different than the home run, the ball he hit for a home run. Peralta right on that, and this is all set up by his inability to throw that fastball when he needed to get a strike, both to Victor Martinez and then to Peralta when he had him set up on that outside corner. Now you're pitching 2-1. You figure you have to try to trick him with something else, and you throw that slider right in the middle of the plate. That doesn't trick anybody.
Carlos Guillen fouls the first pitch down the first base side. No balls and a strike. Guillen struck out his first time up.
Hey, Coom, Anthony's heard me kind of rail about this a lot, but I really hate pitch sliders thrown. It counts where a pitcher feels like he has to throw a strike, because you very rarely get as good one. You get the get me over one, and that ball just gets hit so hard so often.
Well, I think, you know, the one big key, I would agree, and it's not your best fastball, and if you're not committed, you know, it's just like your swing. If you commit to your swing and let it rip, you usually put an A swing on the ball. Same thing with a pitcher. If he doesn't commit to the pitch he really wants to throw, and like you said, the little get me over slider, those end up going a long way.
You bet.
2 on, 2 out, 1-1 pitch, grounded to short. Nishioka to his right, goes the short route to second base, and the inning is over. But Johnny Peralta with a 2-out, 2-run single, and the Tigers lead 4-1. Down by 3 after 2.5 innings. Johnny Peralta with 3 runs batted in already tonight, 6 in the series. His 2-out, 2-run single in the third extended the Tiger lead. And now Tsuyoshi Nishioka will lead it off in the bottom of the third for Minnesota. One ball, one strike. Foul back, 1-2. Tigers, like many of the Twins' opponents, now playing Nishioka very shallow in left and center field. We've already seen that cost him a couple of base hits.
He's going to have to burn some people there, or it's going to be difficult for him. I think this young man's going to be a good hitter. He's got a ways to go. I was talking with Joe Vavra. You and I were standing around the batting cage today, Anthony, talking with Joe. I've talked with him several times about Tsuyoshi Nishioka and his batting style and what Joe hopes to be able to accomplish with him. He's been a very willing pupil. You know, he said he's always in Japan. He always was on his own. He made his own adjustments. Nobody ever told him anything. And he comes to the big leagues, which is a step up in talent. The guys in the outfield are faster. They cover more ground. There's more scouting report on where to play guys. And he's struggling a little bit, and he's getting help from Joe, and he likes it. He appreciates it.
Nishioka down on strikes to start the bottom of the third. You can submit a question or comment to us online at carsoup.com/baseball. Today's question comes from John Hollister in Duluth, who wants to know why the Tigers have had second half struggles under Jim Leyland. 2006 to 2010, his first 5 seasons, Detroit has 3 times had a lead in the division at the break and has never managed to hold it to win the division title. And one reason might be what you just saw right there, Roy. Their pitching staff among the American League's best in the first half, but among the American League's worst in the second.
It says it all. I mean, that's the reason. It certainly isn't Jim Leland not being able to manage well in the second half. This guy's outstanding. But he really, pitching is going. You're going to play the way you pitch. You're going to finish the way you pitch, and to be 12th and 10th, and third going in and 12th coming out of the break of the mid break is that's no good. You're not going to win being 12th in pitching in the second half of the season.
Jeff Jones, the new pitching coach for the Tigers. That'll be part of his challenge in this year's second half as Revere is retired on a nice running catch by Peralta. 2 out, nobody on. Alexi Casilla will be the hitter.
We're seeing some broken timber here tonight. Guys are getting in on guys. This ball in. Perfect move by a shortstop. Make the drop step. Run back hard over your shoulder. Keep running until you hear an outfielder call you off. Johnny knew right from the time that ball was hit that was going to be his ball or nothing. He made a nice play. We saw that graphic there of Johnny Peralta's fielding percentage. He's doing a nice job at shortstop for Jim Leland. The knock on Peralta, and Dick Bramer and I talked about it last night a little bit.
Casilla swings, pulls one down the right field line. It's off the wall. Casilla into second with a 2-out double for Minnesota.
Good swing by Lexi. He's been putting this swing on the ball a little more often lately. He had some good swings against Verlander. He hit 2 or 3 balls hard to right field in the last game in the Cleveland series. I think this is a noticeable change. Watch Lexi get up and get aggressive. Wasn't trying to slap that ball. He was trying to jerk that one, and he did a nice job. That's a good swing.
Casilla had some of the team's best swings against Verlander last night.
Very important for these 2 guys, Ben Revere and Alexi Casilla, to get on base ahead of the rest of the lineup. Joe Mauer, Michael Kadire, now Jason Kubel back in the lineup. Danny Valencia, who leads the club in RBIs. These guys need to have guys in front of them, not create their own runs. That's the way that the Twins lineup has always worked. And important for Lexi to be swinging the bat well.
Mauer takes a strike off speed. Last time around, Scherzer got ahead of him with a couple of fastballs. Finally got him on a 2-2 pitch on a ground ball to second. Tigers lead by 3, but the Twins have Casilla in scoring position. Got it in on his hands, and Mauer rolls it to short. Peralta throws him out, and the inning is over. 3 full at Target Field. Tigers 4, Twins 1. think will be the Arby's value player of the game. Text the keyword value followed by a space, then the player's name to short code 234. You can see that Michael Kadire has the early lead, 34% of your votes. Jason Kubel, 22%. Keep voting. We will let you know who you've selected as the Arby's value player of the game in our post-game show. Avila, Betamit, and Jackson for Detroit against Dunsing in the fourth. Tigers have scored in every inning. Solo home run by Rayburn in the first. Solo home run by Peralta in the second. And then Peralta with a 2-out, 2-run single in the third. Line to right, Kubel back and makes the catch. One pitch, 1 out.
Well, again, a ball in the middle of the plate pretty much, especially to a left-handed hitter. You're trying to punish him, and you get one right in the number 1 spot. We should put the old picture that Ted Williams in Sports Illustrated back when I was a kid, and he had the strike zone with a baseball in each spot like we show on Fox Tracks there. And he put in average of what he thought he would hit on each pitch. And you could see from the middle of the plate in, it didn't matter if it was low or high or middle. He thought he'd hit 300 to 400. And that pitch on the low outside corner, 240. You know, I mean, he had every pitch in our, for example, in our little strike zone there with an average of what he thought he'd hit. And he said, you know, my number 1 goal was to get a good pitch to hit, to get the one that I wanted every time I walked up there.
What number did he put? Middle.
Oh, middle. It was 400. I mean, he knew that that he was if he got a fastball in the middle of the plate or middle and just in, he was going to wear that pitch out all season long, his whole life, and he did.
2 balls, 2 strikes. I remember looking at a scouting report during Joe Mauer's MVP season of 2009, during which he hit 365. And they had the same thing, the 9 zones, and they'll color code them. Red if it's a hitter's favorite zone, blue if it's not, and gray if it was just somewhere in the middle. And that year, you remember that Joe seemed to hit literally everything hard, and they had the 3 zones on the outside part were all red. The 3 zones in the middle were all red, and the one in the middle on the inner half was red. If you're a pitcher, you'd look at that and say, well, where am I supposed to pitch this guy? Down and in, up and in, were both in that gray zone. Didn't have a cool one. But in the middle, at one point that season, his number was 485. Betamit down on strikes. 2 out, nobody on here in the fourth. And it's time for our AT&T trivia question. Who were the last switch hitters to win a batting title in each league? Well, I know
your partner is not one of the answers.
Well, that's a good question. I've been going back a while. I remember Willie McGee winning a batting title. That was 25 years ago.
I'm trying to think of a recent switch hitter. Of course, when I think of switch hitters, I forget about the Willie McGees and Reggie Smiths and some of the guys since the guys that I immediately think about when I think about Mickey Mantle and some of those guys. Eddie Murray.
1-1 pitch misses away. Two out, nobody on for the Tigers in the fourth. Jackson had a bunt single to start the Tiger 2-run third. He's 1 for 2. Two-two pitch to second, right at Casilla. And Dunsing has a much-needed 1-2-3 inning in the fourth. Michael Kadire will get things started for Minnesota in the fourth. Tigers lead 4-1.
Minnesota Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. And by AT&T.
4-1 Detroit. As we move into the bottom of the fourth at Target Field. Michael Kadire leads it off against Max Scherzer and takes a strike. Kadire singled and scored in the second inning.
Started with a slider, a real good slider on the outside part of the plate while we were away, and then came in with a fastball. Scherzer's stuff, we talked about it being occasionally electric, can be. That riding fastball in on these Twins hitters have them a little confused right now. I think they're looking to get the sinker up higher in the strike zone, and he's coming right in under their fists on a lot of guys. Right in there. That ball's got a lot of life on it. 96 miles an hour in there under your hands. That is really tough.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled away. Kadire's numbers huge when you look at what he has done since June 9th. Just 255 through his first 56 games. And look at the run production numbers. 29 runs batted in 37 games since.
You know what's remarkable about that, Anthony? We talk about the protection now that Miguel Cabrera has with Victor Martinez and Johnny Peralta hitting behind him. This young man right here has not had any kind of real protection to speak of behind him. He's done that on his own. Kubal's been out. Morneau's been out. Of course, Kadire hits behind those guys a lot, but he does not have a lot of protection behind him.
Kadire continues to battle, trying to get the Twins a leadoff runner here in the bottom of the fourth. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Scherzer has his second strikeout of the night. Our window concepts, window of opportunity. Twins have to feel more confident tonight than they did last night. Look at what Justin Verlander has done compared to the rest of the Tiger starters. 13-5, 2.24 ERA. Gives them 7.5 innings per start.
The difference between the ERA and the number of innings pitched. I mean, you're going to pitch 7.5 innings a game and give up 2 1/4 runs per 9 innings. So less than that in the time that you're out there. That saves the bullpen. It gets you guys excited. You get a lot of wins that way.
Jason Kubel singled in the second inning. It was his first at bat since May 30th. Now he's ahead in the count. 2 balls, no strikes. 2-1. Lost a little power here at Target Field. The scoreboards are all blank. 2-1 pitch. Lifted in the air, short right field. Center fielder Jackson coming on. He'll make the call and the catch. Two out, nobody on for Danny Valencia, who drove in the only run for Minnesota. We're going to look at scoreboards showing nothing but black.
Hey, Coom, I want to ask you another question. You're down there next to the Twins dugout, and I know it's hard to see location for you sometimes, but you've got to be able to see the life on Scherzer's fastball when he's getting it in on guys. He got it in on Joe last inning. He buried it in on Michael Kadire. He's gotten it in on a lot of guys, that riding fastball.
He's thrown 2 of them, Roy. One that his elbow doesn't get underneath, and the other one just rides in like you're talking about. Yep.
Valencia retired on a pop-up to the right side. Twins go in order in the fourth. Target Field in downtown Minneapolis, game 2 of the 4-game series with Kevin Gorg and Ron Coomer. Roy Smalley, I'm Anthony LaPanta. Hope you're enjoying the game tonight. Twins hoping to avoid an 11th consecutive loss to the Tigers, one that would push them 7 games back in the American League Central. Dunsing facing the 2-3-4 hitters in the Tiger lineup. Casilla on the backhand throws and didn't get him. What an effort by Alexi Casilla.
That's about as athletic a play as you will ever see. I can't believe he got that ball near first base. This is a base hit all the way, and Dunsing knows it, so he tries to kick it over to Lexi. Now Lexi is fully extended, throws underneath his arm. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen anybody throw underneath their arm across their body and throw it that far and that accurately. That was a terrific play.
Maglio Ordonez, the hitter. The accuracy is what amazes me.
Well, both. Yeah, absolutely. There's no way you throw that ball right on the bag like he did. But then on top of that, to get that much on that throw, that's an athletic young man. And he has played some kind of second base here for about a month and a half or 2 since Nishioka came back and started playing short.
Check swing and a foul ball.
Now watch this throw. That makes every ligament in my right arm hurt just to look at that. Elbow, shoulder. I can't even tell you the stress that puts on a human being.
I'm right on first base. That's a 100-foot no-look pass from Magic Johnson. That's what it looked like to me.
Well, he had to freeze Nishioka. Didn't want it to get stolen. The base hit into right field. And Rayburn will go first to third. The Tigers threatening to add to the lead again here in the 5th. Miguel Cabrera now the hitter. Cabrera, as we've talked about earlier in the broadcast, the most dangerous hitter in the Tiger lineup. And now Dunsing must face him with 2 men on base.
This is tough duty here. There's not a base open. There's no place to put him. You got to pitch to him. Now he came in last time, and it really buried it in under his hands. If I know Cabrera, he's not going to let that happen again. So I think it looks like they're going outside.
We talked earlier about splitting the strike zone into 9 quadrants and take a look at how hitters succeed in different areas, and you can see you throw it down the middle to Miguel Cabrera, you're in trouble.
Would you say men in the middle of the zone maybe not so good?
I'd stay away from that area in general. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Guys, you got
but I was surprised by the fact that Coombe, you and I have talked about this over the course of the season. His numbers up in the upper part of the strike zone surprisingly low. The fact that he was under 100 on pitches up and away.
Well, if you look at his style and where he carries his hands, that doesn't, he really wants to go down and attack the baseball. The other thing tonight is he's really been looking to hit the ball the other way off Dunsing. His first at bat, Brian threw a couple fastballs by him. That at bat really looks like he's trying to fill up right center field.
It does, and he's diving out a little over the plate, Coombe, more than I normally see him. The reason, Anthony, he doesn't hit the ball up and away very well is because he does keep his hands inside. He wants to let the ball get deep and hit back through it, and that's not conducive to hitting that ball up and away. He's not after that pitch at all. He's protecting against the outside right now. There's something in his mind about the way Dunsing is going to pitch him that he's looking for the ball away, and I think he's just decided that 195 is going to impress the Twins. A 195 low and away, and he thinks they're going to pitch him out there because he's doing a little bit more diving with his head, Coombe, than I've seen him do in the past.
I really think the game plan for the Tiger hitters, they've hit a few home runs on some hanging breaking pitches and that, but you think about the at-bats that they've put together of driving the ball the other way. Peralta, Ordonez, they've knocked in a lot of runs by hitting the ball the other way this series.
2-2 pitch, fouled back. Coombe,
that's the other way swing right there too.
Coombe, you've talked about Miguel Cabrera being one of the best in baseball at eliminating pitches from a pitcher's repertoire. Have you seen him singling out a pitch he wants to hit tonight?
Yeah, I think right there. He's looking for the ball down and out over the plate to hit the ball to the middle of the right center. And that's why earlier in the game, when you saw him break his bat, Dunsing came in with a good fastball, and it surprised him.
Fouled back to the screen on another pitch away, and the count holds at 2-2.
And I think you can get in there again, Coom, right now after all these pitches that he's seen away and the way he's looking out over the plate and fouling the ball back, looking like he's trying to go that way. I think he can come in there again, but it takes a lot of courage. You've got to get it in there and be willing to go to 3-2. You can't do, as you said before, you can't fail to commit and leave that ball inside with too much of the plate.
Cabrera continues to battle. Dunsing's pitch count continues to mount, and that means that Alex Burnett needs to start getting ready for Minnesota. Dunsing has already thrown 91 pitches and nobody out here in the Tiger half of the 5th inning. Dunsing has slowed the pace considerably with runners on in this at bat by Cabrera.
And here's where Brian Dunsing and Joe Mauer have to be on the same page. They really have to commit to this pitch. They cannot be half-hearted. They have to have a real plan here. I think you can get him out in, off the plate, or you can stay down and away.
Work away, but he just misses, and it's now full 3-2.
Yep, that's the pitch he just hasn't quite had tonight. He oftentimes, when he's successful, when he gets in a situation where he wants the outside corner, he's able to get it. He just hasn't had that pitch tonight in his command.
3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out.
That's a strike.
Got it. Cabrera's not happy. Dunsing just missed on the 2-2 pitch. Came right back to it on 3-2. And Cabrera is a huge out.
And got him on the up and away one that we were talking about. That ball at Fox Tracks, he got that a little inside. It was a little bit out over the plate. He took it for high and doesn't like it. But that was he just didn't have that pitch up there in his mind at all, that high strike.
That pitch right there is probably one of the first times Brian's kind of tried to cut his fastball. And to your point, Roy, he's been flying open a little bit, and that fastball that he's trying to throw away has been running on him and running up and out. That one he got around the fastball a little bit and cut it just enough.
Yep, good point. I'd like to see him try to backdoor some of those cutters when he wants to hit the outside corner. Just for the reason you suggest.
Still a long way to go to escape the inning. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Victor Martinez and Johnny Peralta, the next 2 scheduled hitters.
And probably his last hitter, I would say, pretty good chance with Burnett up in the bullpen. I don't think that Johnny Peralta is going to get another shot at Brian Dunsing the way he swung the bat against him so far. Dunsing has pitched well to Victor Martinez, even though he's right-handed. But I kind of don't think that he'll get past this hitter unless he gets a double play ball right now.
2 balls, no strikes. I'm just trying to figure out how you are going to execute that Alexi play in our post-game instructional.
You know what? I can do it really, really well one time in my life, and that will be the flame out.
Might be the last throw of your career.
That'll be the last time I ever use my right arm.
Here's the 2-0. Chop to third. Could be 2. No, Valencia will come to the plate instead. And a couple extra throws in the rundown allow Ordonez to reach third, but the Twins do cut down the lead runner. Runners on the corners now with 2 out for Johnny Peralta. And let's see if Dunsing is given the opportunity to finish the 5th inning.
Here's a one hopper. I think Danny decided that it was too big a hop to get to, which may have been the case. I think with Victor Martinez running, you had a chance. Right there, I think Danny made a little bit of a mistake. Joe's trying to run him back as far as he can, but the runner was too far away from him for him to really get close to him. Danny's got to close that gap a little bit. If right at the very last minute, if Danny starts running toward that throw full speed, he can catch him and tag the runner without that extra runner advancing.
So again, the runners are on the corners. Now there are 2 out. And Johnny Peralta will add to his series RBI total with this one, as he lines one down the line. Another run scores. 7 runs batted in the series for Peralta, and it's 5-1 Detroit.
Let it go.
Ron Gardheimer frustrated. We saw a picture right before the Peralta swing. Boy, Johnny Peralta's getting some cookies to hit today. He's gotten 2 sliders in the middle of the plate and a fastball right down the middle. Dunsing just hasn't been able to stay out of the middle of the zone to Peralta, who right now is probably their hottest hitter, the hottest hitter in the Tiger lineup.
6 out of 7 in the series with 2 doubles and 2 home runs. That's all for Brian Dunsing. Johnny Peralta ends his night with a run-scoring double. Follow the Twins with MLB.com at Bat 11. It'll work on your iPhone, your iPad, your Android, or BlackBerry. Get all the scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit twinsbaseball.com for details. Alex Burnett is the new Minnesota pitcher, and he'll face Carlos Guillen with 2 in scoring position, and Detroit in position to break the game open. What a series for Johnny Peralta. A home run, a single, and a double tonight. He had a home run, a single, and a double last night. He's driven in 4 tonight, 7 in the series. Guillen, a switch hitter, will now hit from the left side against Burnett. And he takes inside, ball 1.
I've always felt like Carlos Guillen was a better hitter left-handed than right-handed. Good hitter both ways. He's had a really nice career. I think he's a little bit better from the left side.
One ball, 1 strike. A run in and 2 out in the inning. Still 2 Tigers in scoring position. Down low.
I think when we look back on this inning and manager Ron Gardner looks at this inning, I think he's frustrated by a couple of things. The Twins, I really think that the ground ball that Victor Martinez hit, the high hopper, Danny needed to try to get 2 there and get out of that inning. With Martinez running, I think you had a play there, and then they didn't run the rundown play really well.
Base hit into center, and 2 more will score. Tigers lead 7-1.
Another ball in the middle of the plate. These Tiger hitters kind of know what to do with that pitch. They're good hitters. They're professional hitters. They don't try to do more than what the pitch allows them to do. And they're in one of those rare streaks where they've got 6 or 7 guys swinging the bats really, really well right now.
Alex Avila 1 for 2 against Dunsing. Takes high, ball 1.
When you think about this series so far in a game and a half, and you think about all the pitches that in the middle of the plate that were not fouled off, that just got centered up and driven someplace. You can go through a whole series again with your pitchers, making good pitches, then they make a mistake and the other team will foul it back. These guys just have not done that. What sticks in my mind on all these hitters is getting balls in the middle of the plate and just tattooing them.
It's a dangerous lineup, but I think you're right. Right now, this is a dangerous lineup that is in a groove.
That man especially, Johnny Peralta. What an addition he has made, where he has been.
2 balls, 1 strike. Conservative lead at first base for Carlos Guillen. His 2-run single closed the book on Brian Dunsing, who allows 7 runs in 4 2/3 innings. He did strike out 7 while walking only 1.
I really thought he had pretty good stuff. Ron Coomer and I talked about it. He might have been a little amped up, throwing a little bit harder than he normally does, and control the command with his fastball, suffering for that just a little bit. But he did strike out 7 real good Tiger hitters, and like we say, you can't throw the ball where you want to all the time. And these guys, when he throws it in the middle of the plate, they just hit it. And when I look at Brian Dunsing's night tonight, again, what pops out at me is not the number of pitches he threw in the middle of the plate, but the pitches that he just missed on the perimeters of the zone when he had somebody set up and he could get outs. He just couldn't quite get the pitch there. And I really felt like that was the difference in his night tonight, even more than or at least as much as the balls in the middle of the plate.
Walked him. All right, our trivia question, AT&T trivia question. Bernie Williams is the guy I'm going to go with. I think he might be the last in the American League. I'll go Bernie
call.
Williams and William McGee.
I like Chipper Jones in the National League. And good call by Bernie Williams. I'd forgotten about Bernie Williams. Bill Mueller. That's right. That's right. Forgot about Bill Mueller as well.
2003.
That was the year he came out of nowhere.
He did. I remember that, but I would have guessed it was about the same. I'm fairly certain Bernie Williams won a batting title. It had to be close to that time. Might have been a little earlier.
Yeah,
I don't doubt our truck. If they say Bill Miller is the last, Bill Miller is the last.
Their veracity is not to be questioned.
Well, I can say I would have been here a long time before I came up with the name Bill Miller.
Yep. Yep, I would not have. I just wasn't going to get that.
2 strikes. Wilson Benameat has struck out twice tonight. 2 on for the Tigers and 3 in here in the 5th. They've broken it open at 7-1. So Miller's batting title in 03 came 5 years after Bernie Williams won one in 1998.
Well, that being the case, I've listened to Dick and Bert long enough to know that that would qualify us for a win.
That qualify as a win?
Yeah, because we got Chipper Jones on our own, and you got another switch-hitting batting title winner that played
relatively
at the same time that Bill Mueller did, sort of. Oh, and that's right. Don't they only have to give, if they get one, they think they've gotten about 10 in a row.
Well, we could raise the bar.
Yeah, we could.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. Got him. Burnett gets Benameat, and the inning finally comes to an end, but not before the Tigers score 3 and lead 7-1.
We're in the Minnesota State Lottery winner's circle. We got 100 scratch-off tickets. Mike, Robbie, and Ryan are the winners. And Mike grew up in New Prague, but has now moved to Cairo, Egypt. You bring a sign from Cairo, we'll put you on TV. It's hot. It's sticky here at Target Field. But how does this climate compare to what you're dealing with back in Cairo right now?
Well, you know, it's hot, over 100 degrees in Cairo. But I always say, you know, when I'm hot, I'm happy. At least I'm not cold, you know.
Well, you're hot tonight. You just won 100 scratch-off tickets from the Minnesota State Lottery with love to Cairo. And Roy Smalley filling in for Bert Blyleven will give you the circle right now. And hopefully Jim Thome, who steps on the plate, will hit a ball our direction for 597, guys.
Way ahead of you, KG. He has been there by circle.
Thome, Young, and Nishioka in the Minnesota 5th. Thome flied to left his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Still a long way to go, and it still feels like the Twins may have a chance against Scherzer at some point tonight.
Absolutely. He's not pitching so well that they can't get some balls in the middle of the play to get some base runners going on of their own. He can get wild. He can get frustrated. If the Twins will stay up there with good at-bats, real good intentions about what their plan is against this guy, get him figured out, they can get right back in this game.
3-1.
A walk here or a fastball in the middle of the plate that Big Jim gives him a little bit of shock can really can really set him off here a little bit.
At the fastball, but fouled it back. 3-2. With Roy Smalley, I'm Anthony LaPanta. Filling in for Dick Bramer and Bert Blyleven. Bert will, of course, be inducted into the Hall of Fame on Sunday. Thome swings and grounds one through the shift and into right field for a base hit. Arby's and Fox Sports North are giving you a chance to win a trip for two to Fort Myers, Florida. Simply pick up an Arby's It's Good Mood Food code card every Friday at any participating Arby's. Then log on to foxsportsnorth.com, click on the Fan Zone tab, enter the code for the chance to win. You must be a member of the Fan Zone, which is free to join, and be 18 or older. Visit foxsportsnorth.com for complete contest details. Even with a shift, there are still holes.
There's holes out there. It just doesn't look like it. We're standing, but when you hit the ball this hard, hit it by the infielders no matter where they're standing.
Delvin Young grounded to third his first time up.
Victor Martinez said, how'd you get it through there?
And Thome's answer would likely start with, well, you know.
And son, I've gotten a whole bunch of those.
Should be two. Thome erased on the Delvin Young double play ball. Time now for the CenturyLink high-speed pitch. We've seen some velocity here tonight. Scherzer has topped out at 97, Dunsing at 94.
And I think Ron Coomer made a great point earlier. I think both guys amped up. 97 is not typical for Scherzer, although that riding fastball can get up there occasionally. Brian Dunsing 94 is quite a bit higher than his, well, a couple miles an hour higher, I would say, than his the normal game plan fastball.
Nishioka struck out his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike the count here with 2 out and nobody on in the bottom of the 5th.
One of the things I was talking with hitting coach Joe Vavra about this young man, Nishioka, slides off of his front foot much like Ichiro Suzuki does. I think he has copied that approach a little bit in his time in Japan. But the one thing he doesn't do well is his front hip. Watch his front hip spin open just a little bit as he moves forward. There he stayed more square. That's what Joe's trying to get him to do. That's what Ichiro does. His front side stays square to the line of flight of the ball the whole way, and he uses his hands. Nishioka has a tendency to fly open with his front side just a little bit. There it is right there. When you fly open, you lose your balance, and you lose the big end of the bat a little bit. Now watch as he glides forward. This is atypical for a hitter, for him to come forward with his head and body as far. He's back. Now here comes the slide forward, but the hip spins a little bit, and see the big end of the bat was way behind his hands. If he can stay square, he can bring his hands through and slap the ball hard the other way. But that little bit of hip movement there is it slows your bat down. If he's going to glide that much, he really has to stay square and get on top of the ball so that big end comes with his hands at the same time.
Avila appears to be okay behind the plate. And Scherzer will deliver 2-ball, 2-strike pitch to Tsuyoshi Nishioka. Fouled away.
That's what causes that pitch right there. We've seen that swing right there. We've seen a lot of guys. That's a tough pitch, that down and away pitch. You're fighting off as best you can, but his lower body and head are so far from the ball because of that little spin that no way he can have an aggressive or authoritative swing at that ball.
Another 2-2. Got him. Nishioka's out on strikes. The Twins are out in the 5th, and Detroit leads 7-1.
Complex arriving late tonight will allow for lingering moisture for tomorrow's game, so looking at a shower or thunderstorm to linger, otherwise remaining humid. First pitch temperature at 86.
Alex Burnett will try to keep the Twins at least mildly within striking distance. They trail by 6 runs as the Tigers come to the plate in the 6th. Jackson, Rayburn, and Ordonez, the top of the lineup against the Minnesota right-hander.
Alex Burnett and the Twins could use a 1-2-3 inning, get the guys back up at the plate, try to get in that Tiger bullpen.
Well, this Tiger team does not take many strikes.
No, they really don't. They're up there to hit. They know they can hit, and when they see the ball anywhere near the middle of the zone, they're hacking it. No question about it.
0-2 pitch. Got him. Jackson's out on strikes for the 5th time in the series. For Bert Blyleven, the long wait is over. Log on to FoxSportsNorth.com for a preview of Bert's induction into the Hall of Fame. Keep checking FoxSportsNorth.com all weekend for the latest news, stories, and updates. The countdown is 1 home game remaining before induction day for Bert. That, of course, will be tomorrow afternoon. And then the induction takes place on Sunday. You can come early to the ballpark on Sunday and watch the induction ceremony right here at Target Field. Hear Bert's speech, which I'm sure he is crafting tonight as we speak in Cooperstown.
That will be fun. Great opportunity for the fans to watch a great event, watch Bert go into the hall. And there's no telling what he might say.
I know that to be true.
You know, you were talking about these Tiger hitters swinging at strikes early and often. A couple of years ago, I was standing around the batting cage in the old Metrodome talking with Jim Leland when they were in town. Ouch. Looked like that got Rayburn right on the left hand. Yep, on the side of the left hand. That hurts, and especially when you don't get your hand off the bat. If your hand is on the bat, we're going to get it. I think we're going to get the sound of this ball hitting Ryan Rayburn. Oh man! When it sounds like it hit the bat and it hits your hand, that hurts. Let's see his hand on the bat there. When there's when there's a solid object in your hand like that, when the ball hits it, it's a lot worse than if you could get your hand off the bat. I know that from personal experience. That's going to be a little sore for a while.
Man on with one out for Meglio Ordonez, who is 2 for 3 with a couple of runs scored.
To continue talking about the Tigers not being afraid to swing the bat, I was talking with Jimmy Leland 3 or 4 years ago around the batting cage at the Metrodome, and I said, you know, what do you think of this working pitchers and taking a lot of pitches and all that? And I'm not setting you up. I'll tell you what I think. I think it just depends on how veteran a hitter, how disciplined a hitter you can be. If you get a ball down the middle, I don't think there's any reason to take it. It's one thing to be swinging at first ball pitches, you know, second ball pitches when they're questionable pitches. But if you can hit like your 3-1 and you get a 3-1 pitch, why not hit it? He said, you know what? I couldn't agree more. I don't know about all this taking stuff. Well, he's got hitters that don't need to take, because when they get in the middle, they know what to do with it.
Ordonez lines to center for the second out. Well, only the Astros and the Blue Jays take a higher percentage of first pitches. Don't know for certain how many of those are balls or strikes, but the Tigers as a team swing at just over 29% of the first pitches they see. Only 2 teams swing more often. And all told, overall, the Tigers swing at about 47% of the pitches they see. There are only 3 teams that swing at more pitches. That would certainly echo Jim Leland's philosophy. And the feel you get here tonight is, I'm hard pressed to remember very many called strikes that Twins pitchers have thrown.
It really depends on the professionalism and the focus of the hitters that you have playing for you, I think. And these guys are real professional hitters.
This ball twisting down the right field line and foul. Cabrera has swung at each of the first 2 pitches and is behind 0-2.
The idea being, if they're throwing the ball in the middle of the plate, that's the one you want. I mean, why wait for a 3-1 pitch till you get to 3-1? If you get it on the first ball pitch or the second ball pitch, you may never get the the 3-1 pitch again. So it really is a question of if you're swinging aggressively at good pitches to hit, great. If you're swinging aggressively at everything that comes up there and you're making outs or swinging and missing on bad pitches, then we got to talk. Then the manager and the hitting coach get together with the hitters and they say, look, you got to take some pitches until you can prove that you know what you're doing up there. These guys know what they're doing.
0-2 breaking ball misses high. And you've always maintained that in nearly every at bat, every pitcher, no matter how good, will give you 1 pitch you can hit.
Yes.
But they might not give you 3.
And you're not going to get 3 very often in the big leagues. You'll get 2 from the lesser guys. You'll get 1 from the Verlanders.
Ground ball off the glove of Nishioka and into center field for a base hit. Rayburn will advance to third, and the Tigers have runners on the corners with 2 out in the 6th.
There's a little hanging breaking ball. Cabrera hits over the top of it a little bit. Good try by Nishioka. Almost got it. I've seen him make such good nice athletic plays here the last month and a half or so. I really kind of expected him to catch that ball. It was a good effort. He almost did. Tough play for a shortstop when you see a breaking ball going up there to a big right-handed hitter who generally pulls breaking balls. You know breaking ball's coming. You see the signs. You see it floating up there high where he should kill it. Your instinct is to move to your right because you think he's going to pull that ball, and for him to go back up the middle crosses you up just a little bit.
Another first pitch swing, this time from Victor Martinez, and he slices one foul. No balls and a strike.
But you're right, Anthony. We've talked an awful lot about in the big leagues, as good as the pitchers are, you're going to get at least 1 pitch to hit every time up, and your job as a hitter is to not miss that. You know, especially against the good ones, you get that pitch, you foul it back, you know that your time at bat might be numbered there, and that's what the Tigers have done. They just have not missed the pitches that they've gotten.
Little blooper down the left field line, long run for Delman Young, and he won't get there, but it drops into foul territory. No balls, 2 strikes. Martinez with a walk and a run tonight. Chance to add to the Detroit lead, which already stands at 7-1.
This is a big at bat and a big pitch. Really get out of this inning. Give the guys some chances here.
Just foul.
They've got 4 more chances to put some runs on the board, make things a little nervous for the Tiger bullpen.
And you're talking about a bullpen that has struggled all year. ERA just under 5 for the Tiger Relief Corps.
Kind of surprising too. They started out pretty strong. I thought Benoit was going to be a real big help to them. He started out that way. Albuquerque's got just nasty stuff, or can have given times. They haven't been as good and as solid as I thought they might be.
0-2 pitch, line to center. Revere will have to play it on a bounce. And Martinez drives in the 8th run. The reason why the Tigers have such a cushion is this man, Johnny Peralta. What a series he has had.
And watch where the location the pitches are right here. Every single pitch is right in the middle of the zone. Now, to his credit, he hasn't missed them, but he's gotten some cookies to hit.
2 doubles, 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in. He's also scored 3 runs.
You know, it's hard to hit the ball that hard, that often, that consistently in batting practice. I mean, he's looked so comfortable. He's looked like he's been in the batting cage.
Came into tonight's game among the American League's leading hitters. He was number 6 at 317. The average now up to 324, which don't know for certain what's happening in some of the other games around the league, but it would slide him into 4th place in the AL batting race. The 0-1. Pop foul. No balls, 2 strikes.
I started talking about Johnny Peralta earlier, and we showed a graphic that he is one of among the leaders in the American League in fielding percentage at shortstop. The knock in Cleveland against Johnny Peralta, the scuttlebutt, the little whispers that I heard was that they didn't like his. They thought he lacked range. But I'm going to tell you, if he catches the ball that's hit to him, makes the routine plays, and swings the bat like this, Jim Leland's going to say, I got to have him. I like him at shortstop. There'll be some plays he doesn't make range-wise, but he's going to drive in way more runs than he's going to fail to make.
Got him. Peralta's out. Tigers add another run and lead by 7. Coors Light 6th inning. It's time for the Coors Light Freeze Can.
And today we're freezing on the pitches in the middle of the strike zone that Johnny Peralta got to hit today. All of them right there. Hitting in the big leagues is tough. It's a little bit easier when you get pitches right there.
That was the Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Can. Don Kelly is in place of Maglio Ordonez in the right field spot for the Tigers. He'll hit third. Max Scherzer will face the top of the Minnesota lineup in the 6th, working with a very comfortable 8-1 lead.
But at the top of the order, time to get something started here. Let's go. Everybody get a plan and go up there and start getting yourself some hits. Put some heat on them. Feel better even if the game doesn't turn out the way you want. Feel better about coming in tomorrow offensively. You got to keep grinding.
Two-one. Not surprising to see the Tigers give Max Scherzer some help. When on the road, only Zach Duke of the Pirates has received more run support.
It's funny how that goes. Some guys get a lot of run support year after year. Oftentimes, some guys they have to beg, borrow, and steal runs. It seems like they're always pitching 2-1, 3-2 games. You mentioned Don Kelly is the new right fielder for the Tigers. I asked Jim Leyland today. I said, you've got your one catcher, your backup catcher is your DH. If you lose a catcher, you're going to lose your DH. Do you have another guy on your roster? And I'd forgotten about Don Kelly. He said, yeah, it's Don Kelly. He's already caught a little bit. He can go behind there. He said it's not very good, but he can go back there. So he's not totally vulnerable if his catcher, if Avila gets hurt and he has to lose his DH. His first choice would be Victor Martinez, but then he loses his DH. And he does have one other guy.
Casilla, the hitter, with Joe Mauer on deck. Casilla tonight, a ground ball to first and a double off the right field wall. Hits another one hard, but it's right at Don Kelly. 2 out. Another big series in the American League Central starting tonight. The White Sox in Cleveland. And Carlos Quentin has hit a 3-run home run for the White Sox in support of Gavin Floyd. They are now playing the ninth. And it's 3-0 Chicago coming into play tonight. The Tigers had a half-game lead over the Indians, with the Sox and the Twins hoping to stay alive. Mauer is 0 for 2. Ball one. Scherzer has induced a couple of weak ground balls from Joe Mauer, and that's something we haven't seen, frankly, at all since the All-Star break.
He's pitched him very, very well. He got him on a sinker that kind of a weak ground ball a second that Joe was out in front of and rolled over. And I think Joe was trying to stay back and watch the ball a little longer, let it get a little deeper, and he threw a 96-mile-an-hour fastball into his hands and jammed it. So, again, that's kind of the game between the pitcher and the hitter. You not only set up pitches from one pitch to the next, but you can set up at bats as well. Pitchers do it to hitters, and hitters can turn right around and do it to pitchers too, depending on which pitch they hit and then what they look for next time.
Two balls and a strike. Now 3-1.
Now advantage Joe again. See if he can get a ball in that 400 zone there in the middle of the plate.
Line to third, Benamit right there, and Mauer retired. The Twins go in order. We've played 6, 8-1 Detroit. second DQ Cap Night of the 2011 season. It's always one of the most popular promotional items of the summer, and the first 20,000 fans will get them. First pitch tomorrow is at 3:10. To check on ticket availability, call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. Jose Mijares, the new Minnesota pitcher. Tigers comfortably in front. See the numbers on Mijares for the year. Guillen, Avila, and Betemit to bat for the Tigers in the 7th. Guillen greeted Alex Burnett with a 2-run single in the 5th.
Right there we saw Jose Mijares' biggest problem so far this year is command of the strike zone, and especially to right-hand hitters going ball one an awful lot. He's got really good stuff and should be a really good reliever in this league. Left-handed reliever. Twins need him to be as good as he can be, and when he gets back in the zone and gets back in the groove where he finds his release point on both his fastball and his slider and throwing strike, strike, strike coming in, he's going to be very, very good again.
Ball back, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Scott Baker will return for Minnesota tomorrow and make the start for the Twins. Brad Penny, his mound opponent in Game 3 of the series. And then Francisco Liriano against Rick Porcello in the finale on Sunday. Chop to the right side, out of the reach of Mijares, but Casilla is there. And the leadoff man out in the 7th. Our Grand Casino story of the game, first inning. Ryan Rayburn went deep off of Brian Dunsing. In the 2nd inning, another solo home run, this one by Johnny Peralta, and it was 2-0 for Detroit. In the 3rd, after Minnesota had cut the lead to 2-1, it was Peralta again. A 2-run single that made it 4-1. Peralta drove the run with a double in the 5th, and the Tigers have broken it open and lead 8-1 in the 7th. Avila takes inside, ball 1. Avila had a hit in the 2nd. 1 for 2. One ball, 1 strike.
Funny how little things can sometimes seemingly make a difference. Alex Avila has always used a relatively light bat at the plate, 31 ounces. And it was suggested to him this year that he try, I think Victor Martinez suggested he try 33, go to a heavier bat. He's a strong guy. Go to a 33-ounce bat. And he started driving the ball with authority almost right away. Now, it's never just the bat, just like it's not my sand wedge. But it can make a difference. A club in your hand can make a difference.
I'm fairly certain it is my sand wedge. It's my 7th sand wedge.
You'll find one. Keep going. keep firing those things.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Well, it stands to reason if you can swing a heavier bat as fast as you can swing a lighter bat, the heavier bat's going to drive the ball with more authority. There's no question. It's all about the force at the ball, and it's mainly about bat speed. But bat speed being relatively equal, obviously, the more mass is going to be is going to do more damage.
Rounded to the right side, Casilla. 2 up, 2 down for the Tigers in the 7th, and Wilson Benameat is the batter. Benameat has struck out in all 3 plate appearances tonight. Twins pitchers have racked up 10 strikeouts in the game. Unfortunately, they've also surrendered 12 hits.
Another funny characteristic about games like this is that it seems like there's always somebody. Everybody's getting hits and driving in runs and hitting home runs and scoring, running around the base. And it seems like there's always one guy in the lineup that that makes the most outs. has a bad night.
He's the only Tiger without a hit tonight.
And on the 87 Twins, he would have had what was known as the hood going so far. Gary Gaetti and Ken Herbeck with an ugly mask that we got to wear if anybody struck out 3 times. He's already got that. He's already going to wear that in the clubhouse that they have. He's going for the sombrero. And I tell you, he knows it too. He's battling right here. And I'll tell you what else happens when you know you struck out twice, and the 3rd time up, I can't tell you how fast you get 2 strikes on you.
2 balls, 2 strikes here as Benameat tries to avoid the 4th strikeout of the night. Well, so many times you'll see hitters that when they're in a groove, it seems to be 2-0 in every at bat. And when they're going poorly, it seems that it's 0-2.
And pitchers know it, catchers know it, umpires even seem to know it, it seems to me. And one of the things that happens when you're swinging well, pitchers start getting careful. Pitchers and catchers are trying not to give you that cookie in the middle of the plate, and they get too fine, and it just feeds. It's a self-perpetuating circle where when you're swinging good, you get 2-0 all the time.
And now it's 3-2.
And I got to tell you, I was thinking this would be called a strike because that's the other way it goes too. When you're struck out 3 times, that pitch gets rung up an awful lot on you.
Fox Tracks brought to you by Carrier. 3-2 pitch into right field, and Benameat has a base hit. Has to be even more satisfying when you're the new guy in the clubhouse.
Oh, exactly right. I was just thinking that. It's interesting. He's trying to impress his new team. He's delighted to go from Kansas City to the Tigers and be in the lineup. He's struck out 3 times. He's trying to impress his team. This does impress his teammates right here. That's a battling at bat that he just had. That shows a lot. He'll get some respect for that at bat.
Austin Jackson takes a strike. A bunt single and a run scored in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 4. To short. Nishioka got him, and the inning is over. Now it's time for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Medica.
Fox Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. Right now, you can get 20 crispy chicken McNuggets for just $4.99 at McDonald's. By the new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. And by Goldman Sachs. For all the reasons you invest, mutual funds from Goldman Sachs.
Tigers 8, Twins 1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th at Target Field. Max Scherzer back to work for Detroit. Pitch number 100 starts the 7th against Michael Kadire. Ramon Santiago now in at second base for Detroit. One ball, one strike. Kubel and Valencia will follow here in the 7th. Foul ball skipped into the stands like somebody was skipping a rock into a lake. At the top of the dugout, a railing.
I've never understood why people want to jump up and throw their hands in front of those balls screaming into the stands like that. I just don't get it. It hurts, ladies and gentlemen.
So reason why the guys on the field wear gloves.
Trust me.
2-2. Kadire gets enough to stay alive. Two pitch. Again, Kadire fights it off.
Center fielder playing Michael Kadire to the right side of second base, the right field side of center field. I'm a little surprised. I wouldn't say that Michael is a consistently right center hitter. So I think that gives a little clue about how they want to try and pitch him.
Got him on strikes. Kadire out on strikes for the second time in the game.
Especially if you're going to throw him a changeup, then your center fielder needs not to be in right center.
Take a look at our Pepsi Max in-game box score. Not much happening for Minnesota. Jason Kubel did return with a base hit in his first at bat since late May. Michael Kadire had singled earlier in the inning. Wound up scoring the only run for Minnesota. Here's Kubel with one out in the 7th. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. Kubel figures to be a big part of any second half push made by this Twins club.
He sure does. They've needed him desperately, as they've also obviously would love to have Justin Morneau back, but Jason Kubel has become a real accomplished big league hitter and the third guy in that lineup. And he's frustrated with himself taking that pitch right there. That was a good pitch to hit. But as we talked about before, one more guy, Mauer, Kadire, now Kubel, swinging the bats well, and that makes a big difference in the lineup.
Foul to the screen. It's even 2-2. There's Justin Morneau. Everything still seems to be moving as expected with his recovery. 2-2 pitch. 3-2. Sounds like they may get Denard Span back at some point on the upcoming road trip. No specific date set yet. Kubel checks his swing and draws a walk. As Danny Valencia comes to the plate, I'm going to pass along birthday wishes. My daughter Gianni, 12 years old today.
Well, happy birthday, Gianni.
I'll go to bed. She'll probably argue that 12 means the bedtime can be stretched.
Oh, you can count on that.
Scherzer to Valencia, ball one. Activity now in the Tiger bullpen. There you see the left-hander, Phil Koch. The right-hander, Al Albuquerque.
Scherzer up to 116 pitches. I'm sure they wanted him to get through the seventh as efficiently as he can. They'd love to have one of those guys start the eighth inning. It's a lot of pitches on a hot, humid night, but he's pitched a good ball game.
Valencia now behind in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Thome on deck, a man on with 1 out. Lined into right. Kelly on to make the catch. And Valencia is retired. Jim Thome, a base hit tonight. Still sitting at 596 in terms of career home runs. Hit 334 as a member of the Cleveland Indians from 1991 to 2002. Then went to Philadelphia. 3 years there, hit 96. 4 years in Chicago, hit 134. Brief stint with the Dodgers that did not include a long ball, and then with the Twins. Really a remarkable season last year with 25 home runs.
It was remarkable because so many of them were huge moments in ball games that literally won games for the Twins last year.
He hit the 25 home runs in just 276 at bats, nearly a home run every 10 at bats. Here he flies to left, and that retires the Twins in the 7th. Twins last night, earlier today, he and his fiancee Alicia's foundation paid a visit on Mary's Place, a homeless shelter for single moms and kids. Carl Pavano, always very active in the community. You can see much more about that on Sunday. Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. Remember that it's a special start time on Sunday, 2:30 for Twins Live, 3 o'clock game time because of the Bert Blyleven Hall of Fame induction ceremony that will take place earlier in the afternoon Sunday. If you're coming to the game, you can come early and watch the ceremony, hear Bert's speech here at Target Field. Mahare's on for his second inning of work. He'll face Rayburn, Kelly, and Cabrera. Tigers trying to make it 11 wins in a row against the Twins and are well on their way to doing so with an 8-1 lead. Will this be the year that Jim Leyland's club holds on to a first half lead? I mentioned it earlier. In his first 5 years with the Tigers, 3 times they've been in first place at the All-Star break, still looking for their first American League Central Division championship.
And they have not been able to pitch well enough to close it out for the most part in those seasons for Jim Leyland. Starting pitching is going to be a problem. This is exactly what we're talking about. You can see in every year they started well, were in position to win, and then just couldn't close it out. Couldn't close the deal. That had mostly to do with pitching. They went through some bullpen struggles, some bullpen injuries. Zamaya and others not being able to pitch, but mostly it's been starting pitching.
When you saw in there that a couple of times they let leads get away and fell remarkably out of contention, and one of those, yes, they led at the break by only 2 games, but they led the Twins by 11, and the Twins came back and caught them. You look at what Ron Gardenhire's been able to do. 2003, 7.5 back at the break and won the division. In 06, 11 back of the Tigers at the break. 09 and last year behind. Of course, that does not include the 1 year that they basically sprinted from the starting gate and won it in Ron Gardenhire's first year of 2002. 6 division titles in 9 years, I think sometimes is overlooked at just how much success that represents for Ron Gardenhire and the Minnesota Twins, when you consider that going all the way back to the time that the Twins arrived in the Twin Cities in 1961. They won the pennant in 65 and went to the playoffs 4 other times before Gardy took over. That's 40 years and 5 postseason appearances. He's won 6 titles in 9 years.
It's an amazing record, and if you look at all the other divisions in baseball and think about the competitiveness, the relative competitiveness in this division from at least 3 teams every year, to think that the Twins have been the ones that have been on top 2/3 of the time, it's really a remarkable accomplishment. You look at all the other divisions and it's not the same.
No balls, 2 strikes. Don Kelly entered the game as a defensive replacement for Maglio Ordonez. Making his first plate appearance of the night. This one into short left. Long run for Delman Young. He's there and makes the catch. Every Sunday is a Blue Bunny Kids Day, a fun day for all at the ballpark. Next one coming up this weekend as the Twins take on the Tigers at 3:10. Kids get free Blue Bunny ice cream and autographs before the game and run the bases at Target Field following the game. Call 833-TWINS for more information regarding ticket availability, or check out twinsbaseball.com. Miguel Cabrera, the hitter, with 2 out and the bases empty in the 8th.
The Tigers will have an optimistic view of the second half of the season with this start tonight by Max Scherzer. If he can pitch like he has tonight, and they get Porcello going, then as we watch Cabrera rip one foul down the left field line, then those three guys with Verlander, those three guys can carry this team to help them finish it off. But what their starters have not been able to do in Detroit, and the pitching staff as a whole has not been able to do up until now. But they've got the arms. They've got the horse in Verlander. Scherzer's got a good arm. Porcello's got good stuff, even though he has not pitched quite as well as they had hoped. But they have the arms to be able to do it. It will all come back down to pitching for everybody. Whoever makes the run is going to be pitching like crazy.
Here's the 2-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's been a while, I think, Anthony, since I've seen Miguel Cabrera swing and miss as many fastballs as he's, or foul them off late with the bat not getting to it as he has tonight. This has been atypical.
In the air to left center, fairly well hit. Delvin Young on the track, makes the catch. Tigers go in order in the 8th, but still lead 8-1.
Eight to 1. Stay with us after the game for Twins Live, which as always includes the Toyota post-game wrap. Tonight we'll take a look at Johnny Be Good. That's Johnny Peralta. He's a triple away from the cycle. He's led an attack tonight that's featured 13 Tiger hits. We'll break that down, and Brian Dunsing's start around it. Our instruction will put you on the field for a little rundown. We've seen that tonight. Earlier this week we saw Peter Anderson with a Pete Rose-like slide. What will we see tonight in the incredible version of the instruction? We'll hear from Ron Gardner, and we'll take a look at the rest of the weekend. Earlier in the week, guys, the Indians took the first 2 and the Twins came back to get the series split. Now, I'm not saying they can't win this one, but maybe that will be a recipe for a split against the Tigers here this weekend at Target Field as well.
Well, it's an interesting parallel for certain, because it looked like the season might be spiraling the wrong direction when Cleveland swept the doubleheader on Monday, and then, remember, had a 1-0 lead in the 9th on Tuesday. Valencia's hit won it, maybe felt like a season saver at that time, but now here you are 3 days later staring at the same 7-game deficit.
Yep. Well, we know that they're going to have to play extremely well in the division to win the division, and these are the games that they're going to have to at least hold serve. Going into tonight, they had 12 games left with Detroit. This is 11 after tonight. They're not going to, obviously they're going to have to win a majority of the remaining games against Detroit. They can't just get away with a split in the rest of the season series and hope somebody else beats Detroit. It's like Tom Kelly said when he was sitting in this chair, there's too many teams they have to climb over. They're going to have to start beating up on those teams that are ahead of them, and it's going to have to start the rest of the game tonight and the next 2 against Detroit.
Delman Young draws a 4-pitch walk from Albuquerque, who's on in relief of Max Scherzer. Becoming Wild, presented by Toyota, gives fans an inside look into what the Minnesota Wild Hockey Operations Department is doing to build a stronger team. The NHL draft is fast approaching. A coaching vacancy was filled, prominent holes in the roster. This episode follows the Wild front office as they continue to tackle a very daunting offseason. Watch Becoming Wild tonight on Fox Sports North. Follow Twins Live. I still can't wait to see you and Ron Coomer execute that play Alexi Casilla made going up the middle in our post-game instructional.
Well, being the partners that we are, Ron's going to dive and catch it, and then he's going to flip the ball to me, and I'm going to pretend to throw it underhand across my body. I will get it about halfway, and then someone is going to need to relay it.
If I know Coombe, he will quickly volunteer to be the first baseman on that play. Nishioka fouled back.
Al Albuquerque, some really electric stuff when he's in the strike zone. He's got a 94, 95 mile an hour fastball, sometimes faster than that, and a nasty slider, hard down and into left-handers.
Nishioka has not looked confident at the plate tonight.
No, I feel for this young man a little bit. There's he's a long way from home. There's a bit of a communication cumbersomeness, and he's got to work out some things in the big leagues here.
Santiago goes to second to force Delman Young. Well, here's that play. In case you missed it, this is what we will see our experts.
Well, yeah, I taught him
duplicate.
this. See, you catch that ball full speed and then throw underneath your arm across your body as you're falling down, and then just throw it all the way across and right on the money to the first baseman. What's such a big deal about that? Oh, my arm hurts again looking at that. Oh, gosh.
It's like watching.
Can you say rotator cuff surgery?
I'm not sure I'd even bother with the surgery. I think I'd just shut it down for the rest of life. So that was the last throw.
Yep. If I did that, I would get Tommy John surgery on my elbow and rotator cuff surgery on my shoulder, and probably have to have severe contusions taken care of on my face.
The reality is, in our post-game show, that our instructional will
thankfully
execute a rundown between third and home.
And even rundown may be a little bit optimistic.
Could be a walk down.
It might be a walk down.
We'll hear from both managers in the post-game show. Ben Revere is the hitter with Nishioka at first and one out here in the bottom of the eighth. Baker and Penny tomorrow. Liriano Porcello on Sunday. Two very important games for the Twins. Here's the rundown that we saw the Twins execute in a first and third situation earlier in the game.
Right here, the runner's too far from Joe. And Danny's got to start running at him. When you wait that long, Joe cannot run him all the way back to the base. He's got to throw the ball, and when he throws the ball, the third baseman has got to be moving forward, so he catches and makes a tag, and the play's over right there. And the fact that Danny waited for the ball and allowed the runner to get started running again caused the extra throw. And two things happen then. Guys move up on the bases. The runners behind the runner on third all move up. But also you've got your pitcher involved in the rundown. It was Brian Dunsing waiting at home plate to tag the runner out there, and you never want that if you can help it.
Alexi Casilla takes a strike. 1 for 3. He's hit the ball hard twice tonight. A double off the wall in the third and a line drive to right in the sixth.
Swinging the bat very well. Good to see Alexi swinging well. That's a good rip at a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Lexi's getting more and more aggressive. It looks to me like he's feeling more and more confident. The slap has kind of gone away, and the real baseball swing is starting to work its way into Lexi's approach there at the plate. Now 0-2, he can protect a little bit, but he's got a lot of strength. He got to swing it like a bigger man.
Short center. Shortstop Peralta out, and it drops. Peralta out and Jackson in. The ball falls in between them, and Casilla has a base hit with Nishioka reaching third.
That's the kind of play right there that drive managers, all managers, but especially Jim Leyland, Ron Gardenhire type managers. That's where the center fielder has got to take charge of that ball. Peralta backed off like Jackson called it.
You could see Jackson's mouth moving on that last angle.
Yep, and if once you call it, you've got to catch it. If you're the outfielder, you're the one in charge. The infielder says nothing. He's going back to catch it until he gets called off. Looked like Jackson did say something, and then which caused Peralta to back off. And once that happens, the outfielder's got to catch it. If once you say I got it, you better got it.
We showed some numbers earlier regarding the Tiger pitching staff first half to second half. I've always felt that the big difference between these two clubs is that the Twins have executed better defensively, and that by the time you get through the long second half of a season, those plays always seem to come back to bite you.
It's a great point. They went for a long time with a lot of offense like they have now and not able to catch the ball as well as the Twins. Plays like that, but even more routine plays in the infield, and they've shored up that defense here this year. There's no question. That is a little bit more reminiscent of previous Tiger teams. I think that's a good point.
1 ball, 1 strike, and I still don't think this is a great Tiger defensive club.
No, not great,
but it's average.
We'll see down the stretch. I think you make a real nice point. We'll see if the adequate. I think it's adequate with the kind of offense that they have. We'll see if that turns out to be the case. It may not. They've got some question marks in the pitching staff, and they're not the best defensive club in the American League Central. So we'll see how they hold up.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Mauer swings and lifts it in the air to left field. Rayburn wanders over toward the line and makes the catch. Twins leave 2 men stranded. We've played 8-1 Detroit. It's been Johnny Peralta all series long. Last night, a home run, a double, and 3 RBI. And tonight, a home run, a double, and 4 RBI.
Delivery of the game, the Jimmy John's delivery of the game. What a series he's had. He's gotten balls in the middle of the plate all series long for all these first 2 games and has not missed them. Swinging like it's batting practice.
Glenn Perkins comes on to work for Minnesota in the ninth. Perkins has been a valuable piece in the Minnesota bullpen this year, solidifying the left side in the setup role, holding opposing hitters to a .224 batting average. He'll face Martinez, Peralta, and Santiago in the ninth.
Needing only a triple to hit for the cycle. If I am Johnny Peralta and I hit one to the fence, I just keep running until I either make it to third or they tag me out.
But you did not do that when you were playing.
I didn't.
You needed a double.
Yeah, I needed a double in Yankee Stadium. I hit a ball down the right field line. It was clearly going to be a double. I was so excited I couldn't stand it. And the ball hit the jutting out stands there down the right field line in the stadium and bounced right to the right fielder about the time I was getting to first. And I'd made up my mind that even if I'd gotten thrown out by 45 feet, I was going. But I couldn't bring myself to get thrown out by 89 feet. I just couldn't. I had to just hold up at first and curse the baseball gods in the Yankee Stadium stands.
2 balls and a strike. Up the middle, Nishioka makes a nice play and throws him out.
This is a nice play by Nishioka. He's going hard to his left. Whenever you go hard like this, the spin play there is the best play to make. You can get yourself under control. It's just 2 steps and you can throw. You're planted on your throw leg back there, your right leg on your second step. If you tried to turn all the way back around, his momentum carries his arm with him into center field and you can't get anything on the throw. That's a nice play. It takes a good athlete to do it, but that's easy. If you can do that, that's the easiest way to make it.
And the Twins get Peralta for the second time in a row. 2 out, nobody on. Santiago will bat. Big boost for the Twins to hear that they'd get Scott Baker back in time to make tomorrow's start.
You bet. I talked to Scott a little bit today. Welcome back. He said he's feels really good.
Mauer in foul territory. Retires Santiago. A quick ninth for Glenn Perkins. Bottom of the ninth. Twins need a bunch. Difference in the series so far has been the starting pitching advantage for Detroit. Last night, Justin Verlander was outstanding, and tonight Max Scherzer wasn't far behind. 7 innings, 1 run. You can see those numbers. Twin starters 12 earned in 10 2/3 innings.
And that's not going to get it done with it at all. We're talking all season long about it all starts on the mound, and it's going to start on the mound in the second half of this season. One of the reasons those numbers look so ugly is that Tigers lineup are really, really hot. Bunch of good hitters all swinging the bats very, very well at the same time, but the Twins pitchers are going to have to figure out a way to slow these guys down, give their hitters a chance.
Lester Oliveros will pitch for Detroit. 4.91 ERA in 7 appearances. Faces Kadire, Kubel, and Valencia in the Minnesota ninth. Solo home runs early tonight by Ryan Rayburn and Johnny Peralta staked the Tigers to a 2-0 lead after Minnesota had cut it to 2-1 in the bottom of the second. Peralta delivered a 2-out, 2-run single in the third. Then a run-scoring double in the fifth. Part of a 3-run fifth inning. It broke it open for Detroit, and Minnesota has not seriously threatened, trailing 8-1. Ball and 2 strikes. Kadire scored the only Minnesota run after he singled in the second inning.
Oliveros got in on Michael there. I actually don't mind that swing and the ball getting deep in there on his hands. I think with 2 strikes, I think we're seeing a maturing Michael Kadire, where before he would not be jammed. He would not give up that inside part of the plate. He'd always be ready for that. You see him take a lot of pitches on the outside corner for strike 3. See him swing and miss sliders out there. Now he's protecting against those pitches, giving up the inside of just a little bit with 2 strikes. And I think overall that's going to make him a much, much better hitter. Has made him a better hitter. We're seeing a lot of balls to right field and right center from Michael again. And when he decides to look in, he's hitting the ball in the seats in left field. I think we're seeing a real maturing Michael Kadire. It's fun to watch. Sometimes you got to be willing to be jammed. You don't want to be, but especially with 2 strikes, if a guy makes it, you can't hit everything. You can't protect against everything.
Kubel takes a 2-0 fastball, and it's 2-1.
If you protect against the inside part, you leave yourself vulnerable to way more things than if you give the inside part up and protect against the middle out.
2-2. Kubel arrived saying that he felt 100%. Felt that his foot was healthy. Haven't seen anything that would lead us to believe otherwise. Also said that he came feeling like he was seeing the ball real well. Have you seen that from him in his at-bats?
Yeah, I think he is. You know, it's different up here. The stuff is different here than it is in AAA, and he was seeing the ball well down there. He told me today, and I think he's probably seeing it okay up here. The stuff's a little different, and it's going to take him a while to get really hot again. You can't come in. I just don't think you expect a guy to come in and be immediately hot after 18 at bats in AAA. But he looked good to me. I thought that I saw him take a couple off-speed pitches, most notably a 2-strike changeup. I thought he took it real well. It looked like he saw it real well. He wasn't way out in front of it. I don't think it'll take him too long. There's the pitch I'm talking about right there. A guy throwing 96 miles an hour and then throws a changeup, and he didn't even offer at it. It looked like he saw it early. Of course, the ball was low in the dirt. That's where you want changeups, is down there. But and maybe it was just a little too low for it to be for Koob to offer at it. But I still think he's seen the ball pretty well. He took that pitch well. Yep.
Second walk for Kubel to go with a base hit. And Valencia will hit with a man on and 1 out.
You can tell when a guy takes a pitch well. When I say that's a good take, what I mean by that is he was quiet with his front leg. His stride was nice and soft. And he didn't offer at a bad ball. He didn't offer at the low changeup like he thought it would, like he was fooled on it. He didn't offer at that high fastball like he was overly geared up to hit it. It looked like he saw it early. Whenever a guy takes a pitch that comfortably, he's seeing the ball early, and that's a good take.
Valencia tonight drove in the only Minnesota run with a ground ball to third in the second inning. He's 0 for 3. One and one. Kubel at first with 1 out. Base hit. All night we had talked about the fact that Minnesota needed to find a way to get into the Tiger bullpen. Unfortunately, it took them too long to do it. But you saw as they got a couple of runners on against Albuquerque in the 8th inning. Now here in the 9th, 2 on with 1 out against Olivares.
Yep, and Danny got himself a little hanging slider, a little spinning slider that didn't have any break on it, just settled right in the middle of the plate. Those balls are supposed to be hit for hits, and Danny got one. And like I said before, you got to keep grinding. You just never ever know. As Yogi said, it ain't over till it's over. You keep grinding, and even if you don't win the game, you keep learning about at bats, and you learn about pitchers, and you learn about how you react to pitches that they have. They're going to see all these guys again. Got 11 more games with them. Keep grinding, keep trying to have good at bats. They're all important. Every bat's important. It's not critical, but they're all important.
Jim Thome will hit 1 for 3 with a 5th inning single. Trying to add Lester Olivares to his long list of victims.
Has he got him yet?
1 and 1.
I think Lester deserves to be on that list.
Olivares pitching in just his 8th major league game. Has not allowed a home run to this point. The 1-1. Two big starts coming up for Minnesota the next 2 days, with Baker, as we mentioned, tomorrow, and then Francisco Liriano on Sunday. White Sox have beaten Cleveland tonight 3-0. Carlos Quentin with a 3-run home run for the White Sox. That means the Tigers with a win here could knock the Indians a game and a half back. Into right field, a base hit. Eight to 2 on the run scoring single by Jim Thome. Valencia reaches third, second hit of the night for Thome.
Jimmy got a low fastball that he could handle and drove it again right through the shift. Good swing there. That's about that low fastball is the one that he wanted. Scores Repko. And the Twins keep putting pressure on the Tiger bullpen, which is exactly what they want to do.
And now Hughes will run for Thome at first base. Runners on the corners with 1 out, and Jim Leland isn't going to let it get any closer. He'll make a pitching change with Delman Young due to bat. Now I believe that Valverde was the man throwing. Go to his closer with a 6-run lead.
Oh, that cute little face works for me. What a doll.
Jim Leland is not taking any chances. He goes to the closer, Jose Valverde, with a 6-run lead of the ninth. Valverde a perfect 25 for 25 in save opportunities. This obviously not a save chance. He'll face Delvin Young with runners on the corners and 1 out in the ninth.
And I don't blame Jimmy Leyland at all for going to Valverde to get 2 outs here. If he's running some risk of the Twins putting together a big inning and having Valverde throw a lot of pitches here. He would then still have him for Sunday's game, maybe not tomorrow's. But if he gets through with 2 outs and closes this out, he can pitch tomorrow and probably Sunday as well.
Delvin Young takes a strike. Delvin 0 for 2. Hit into a double play in the 5th. He walked, leading off the 8th. One. Valverde has been perfect and leads the American League with 25 saves. Twins got to Chris Perez of Cleveland earlier on this homestand.
And it's good to get to see him here. I mean, you might as well get some hacks against this guy. He's tough. He hides the ball well, throws hard.
6, 4, 3, and the Tigers have made it 2 in a row over Minnesota in this series. And Robbie and Smokowski have shoved the Twins 7 games back in the Central.
Anthony, the carnage continues here between the Tigers and the Twins. It has been one-sided. 11 straight wins for the Tigers over the Twins. And we're going to break it all down. Johnny Peralta has been a thorn in the side of the Twins. We'll talk about that. Hear from Guardian. Talk about Jason Cole's return. All next on Twins Live.